Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode number 117 of the Terminus Podcast. I'm your host, Ellis, otherwise known as Train Man, or Dispatcher, if you will. With me, I have my engineers, Jacob Durbin and Nick Christensen, and our fireman this week is Chris Holman, and our brakeman, recurring once again. We've actually had this exact same cast before since we changed the cast up, is Nick Wakefield, also known as OOO Geelies.
Or Crank.
Or Crank. But anyway, before someone hacks into our account, the train will terminate at this station.
Alright, since Leibold is off having dinner tonight, I'll be taking over the reins of announcing where we are.
Okay, just get to
it. According to Alice, we are currently in Gary's Mod and looking at someone in Rockfort. I have no idea what they're doing because I'm not watching the stream myself, but you can see for yourself.
They're driving a large diesel locomotive that I cannot identify because I can't tell them apart.
Okay.
Anyway, it has BMI on the side of it, which is, interesting.
Body mass?
Yeah, that's why. That's what I was going to say.
That's his company.
The Doctor Locomotive.
What?
That's his company, and I don't know the meme behind it.
Anyway,
so.
Speaking of large engines doing things, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 crashes for the Class 1 Mantle of Responsibility this week. And guess what? None of them are KCS. Surprising nobody.
Wow.
But the person in second place, believe it or not, is CSX. They haven't had an accident in over a month. Astonishing.
They're getting good.
I don't know about that.
Maybe except
Them-
They're
PSR.
just having a
CSX
dry.
is up
They're just having a dry spell.
They're up to something.
yeah, converting everyone else to PSR. But we'll get to that later. The first accident to occur, actually, all three. Oh no, sorry, I misread that. I read that upside down. Canadian National on February 16th, Manitoba. Holy cow, did they pile up some tankers. And they had a hell of an oil leak because they crashed 40 cars of crude near a small village in western Manitoba early on a Saturday morning. It occurred at 3:30 a.m., so that's a great thing to wake up to if you live at this little place. Like, evacuate.
One.
Yeah. So, no injuries reported, no fires reported, thank goodness, because, that's a pretty bad scenario, crude oil derailment. And they had to set up a perimeter and stop the leaks and do all that stuff they do after you tip over a train full of crude oil. But, it's, nobody died. Nobody was injured. Just a pile-up. We're not sure what happened, but, the investigation will conclude and we'll never find out, probably. So, also on that same day, a teen was trapped beneath an NS train after being hit in Long Swamp. I don't know where Long Swamp... Okay, it's actually in Pennsylvania. With a name like Long Swamp, I expected South Florida, but...
Yeah, that one, that's... Actually, Ellis, you can say that you've been there.
Okay, I will say that I have been here.
Yes, that is... It's like, I don't know, what's it, about 2 miles by the railroad, but west of Toppin.
Okay.
I've been there. There's something in there with foul play, and I'll say this right now just simply because that is, if you look on Google Maps of the Long Swamp Railroad crossing, which you can look it up, it is in the middle of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
There's no reason to go there other than to cross the railroad tracks.
Mm-hmm.
As for why the boy was there, I don't think they've come up with a cause. Supposedly there were other people there. I'm not sure if we'll ever get to know, but something fishy was there. You don't just go to Long Swamp because there's...
You don't just go to Long Swamp.
There's
Nobody
nothing
goes
there.
there.
There's absolutely nothing there.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Well,
I don't know.
anyway.
It's still sad, but...
Well, he was alright, so...
Yeah.
That's good. Somebody that wasn't alright was this driver of a pickup in Missoula. This was on February 19th. A BNS train hit and dragged a pickup a half a mile down the tracks. And I'm trying to scroll down, and it won't let me. Come on. Whatever, somebody got hit. Oh my god, click here for your mystery subscription offer. Scratch here, special discount. No. Okay.
Cowboy!
Sure, let's
Check out JPEG.
just get through the... Okay. I just want to see this article. A westbound locomotive pulling a loaded 125-car coal train collided broadside with a pickup Tuesday morning at a rural crossing near Sear in Mineral County, sending a man from the Alberton area to the hospital with serious injuries. Responders from the Montana... Why is the article shifted over and I can't read the last word in every sentence?
Cliffhanger.
Yeah, so I don't know what happened, but somebody drove in front of the, train and got hit.
I hate to be a bother here. I hate to interrupt.
Mhm.
I apparently now have dinner.
Okay, we'll go get dinner. And,
I will be back momentarily.
alright,
Okay.
we'll just finish the
Have
rest
fun.
of this. It's unknown what the driver's actions were, blah, blah, blah. He was crossing the tracks and the train hit him, whatever. Somebody probably wasn't looking. Just get hit. It was on like a dirt road in the middle of Montana. It was probably exactly like what happened when TJ was playing My Summer Car.
Yeah.
You just go, oh, the train isn't coming now. Bam!
The train never comes through here,
Yeah.
boy. Yeah.
Anyway, on the other side of the country, in Knoxville, Tennessee, the Knoxville Fire Department confirmed that a Norfolk Southern train left the tracks at Sutherland Avenue and Concord Street. 7 cars were derailed, including what looks like a high-side gondola and some covered hoppers, and a regular gondola. It looks to me that the train came apart in 2 separate pieces, I guess. There's some cars derailed, and then up the way there are some more cars derailed. 3 of the cars were empty, 3 carried acidic adaline, and 1 car carried butyric acid, which is used as a flavoring agent. So it would have been a delicious derailment if those cars had burst open. Well, except for maybe the one full of the other acid, because I don't know what that is. That was on the 21st, and then just recently, on the 28th, also I apologize for the 3-week gap between episodes, but we were very busy. This is in Scioto County, Ohio. Several train cars derailed in Scioto County.
Wait a minute.
Yep.
Where?
Just north of Lucasville.
How do you... Oh, that's Scioto.
Scioto. Damn.
Scioto. Wow.
Scioto. Oh well, it looked right.
Speech 100.
It could go either way.
Yeah, it could.
Depends where you are. Anyway, well, you can never guess sometimes because, there's a town, the town of Versailles in France?
Yeah.
The city of Versailles. There's a town in, Kentucky or something that's spelled the same and they pronounce it Versailles. I know. I hate it too.
Speech 100.
Anyway, Norfolk Southern was traveling east. 13 cars derailed, 4 on their sides. Some cars were transporting grain. Blah blah blah. I still can't read the last word of every sentence. Nothing crazy. No gigantic emergency. Just some cars tipped over. Oh well, stuff happens.
There's a cool video of it.
Grain.
Of the... I don't know. I can't remember if it... Yeah, I think it's of the same derailment.
Mm-hmm.
Of a guy, pacing the train.
Yep.
And next to him, there's just... there's a wheel of one of the hopper cars just disintegrating.
It's dragging on the ground.
Yep.
The truck has come apart. There are sparks.
It's cool.
It's something's happening.
Goodbye to that wheel.
Yeah. So anyway, that rounds out. Also, that link is attached to this thing on the cargo. So if anybody wants to see that video, which I recommend you watch, it's something else. It's linked in the cargoes down below. Anyway, what have you guys been doing these past few weeks?
I've been too busy.
I've been busy doing stuff that I guess related to this podcast, so I can talk about it.
It's trainer.
I've been working on the Albany and Western Express, Banks Northern Railway.
What a foamer.
Yeah, because because of everyone so far in the multiplayer route, I have the most established history of my railroads.
You're like one of very few people that's actually gone out to figure their stuff out before the multiplayer surveyor hits.
Yeah.
You're doing the
Mostly
opposite
just
of
because I
me.
have to do it off the top of my head. I don't like that.
Yeah, Julius, I'm in your camp. I'm gonna be the one going around messing stuff up, making connections in places.
Yeah. But anyways, I've been working on that, trying to get more miles done. I think I have about 3 or 4 miles left of scenery to go, and I'm done with this route. And I'm probably going to end up replacing all the current trees that I have on it with speed trees after I'm done. So it's easier to work with them as they are right now.
But thank you. Thank you.
And I've done quite a few weed skins for it. I weed skinned the 10-wheeler, which is happily numbered 94. Yeah. Yeah. And I weed skinned 3 coaxes today. They're all Harriman cars. And one of them is a weird one because it's a 60-foot combine caboose. I'll send the photos here in chat. Whenever I can actually in the chat. Yeah, that's about all that I've been doing with trains. Just slowly progressing the route on, re-skinning stuff along the way, and writing down a whole bunch of history for why this stuff is here.
I started writing some history as well for one of the railroads that no longer exists on the Tolbrin Peninsula, and possibly the wordiest railroad I've ever created, which is the Everett Lake Railroad. Everett Lake Navigation and Mining Company, or something like that. No, Everett Lake Railroad and Navigation Company.
Yeah, that's a mouthful.
Is wordy as hell, and I wanted to slip mining in there as well because that's one of their other primary purposes. But they are, like I said, one of the older. Well, they're one of the railroads on Tolbrin that no longer exists. They were absorbed into the Volga Mountains at some point, which I haven't gotten to that point in their history yet, but I'm writing it as, not as we speak, but I've been writing it a little bit day by day. The only reason they actually exist is because I wanted to mirror the Rutland Railroad's Addison branch, and in order to do that, I had to make a very large lake up somewhere. And I figured while I was at it, I would add a Rutland-esque causeway, except then I needed a reason for it to be there, so I came up with this railroad. It's been I guess I need this, and I guess I need this, and I guess I need this, and I'm writing this multi-page summary of a railroad that basically has zero impact on what Tolbrin looks like right now.
It should publish like an actual book.
Yeah. Well, I intend to put everything together in like a Wikipedia-esque setup where you can click on links in the documents to take you to other relevant documents. Like, I'm naming places as I go. One of the places is Whole Point. There's the city of Akron. There's a town of Macon. There is a pass that I just named and forgot the name of. There is the lake, Everett Lake. There was a town. There's a town on the other side of the lake that has a mine in it, which literally does not matter. It only matters for the purpose of the story of this railroad. But
I know that feeling.
There's no rail connection to it. Stuff gets shipped in by barge. But the barges are run by the Everett Lake. And I was going back and forth between a town that mines silver called Leadville or a town that mines lead called Silverton. And I couldn't pick. So it doesn't have a name right now. But it mines silver.
So, on the note of writing history, since I was last on, I came up I incepted the Kansas City, Denver, and Western, and I just so happened to be on a flight coming back from my trip to San Diego and got bored. So I wrote an entire history for the KCD&W, as well as the symboling style, but that's beyond the point. And in essence, it was basically constructed and founded in 1879, ran up through Chicago, and then in 1897 had tracks basically all over the Midwest. And then they were like, wouldn't it be a great idea to build to Denver? And in 1909 they did that, and
Okay.
by 1941 they completed a three-way merger with the Rio Grande and the Western Pacific. And that's when the name Kansas City, Denver, and Western, and blah, 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 blah. Now, my plans for this railroad are both to model it in real life
Yeet.
and maybe even make it in trains. But that would require a lot of reskinning. So we'll see about that last one. But I'm definitely going to model it, and I already have the first locomotive, as well as the sound decoder for the first locomotive.
Nice.
What decoder do you got?
ESU. Lock Sound Select Direct.
Hey, you could always
Yes.
just be like me and beg other people to do your reskins for you. Pro tip.
Yeah.
No, but for real, as far as the Toblin Reskin project is concerned, there's been a lot of really great work that's been getting done between a lot of great people, which I'm not going to name all of them here. If you want to hear from all of them, then you can, and see their products, you can check that out on Under Construction. But really great people in the fan chat that are, either reskinning or making logos, which I actually do want to talk about when Chris comes back very briefly, perhaps. And in some cases even making models. There are a couple of aspiring modelers out there that are trying their hand making stuff for Tolbrand, which I'm super excited about. There are some things that I need for Tolbrand as I work. So, there are those SAP Industries. I'm sure you guys know them.
Yep.
And they have a bajillion commodities associated with them.
Yep.
Guess what? There are no freight cars that take those commodities. None.
Really?
Yep.
So, I
I feel your
need
pain.
someone to reskin a freight car and also change the config to put those commodities in it.
Okay.
So that's
Hmm.
my next hurdle. And that's something that I could probably figure out. I've done that before. It's just I'm trying to focus all my free time on making the route. But once I have that squared away and I can use those industries, I can start actually programming the switching in Mason Valley, which is going to be another thing entirely. But I'm excited to do it. The big
Yeah.
news with Tolbrand and download station stuff is that the RS3s finally got all the way up to the download station with the help of multiple people, Milky, you included, and Flegel and Mason, and some work that I put in as well, to get those things reskinned, edited, and put up. And they're up. You can download them from the DLS now. And I'm super excited because it means that I can continue with the automation on Tolbrand. Which, that's always my biggest hurdle. I mean, it's
Oh,
not
yeah.
my biggest hurdle, but it's the thing that I get most excited about because it's so fun to sit here and watch the trains do their thing.
That's
It's like
true.
rail fanning, except you made all of the trains. It's rail fanning, except you are God.
So, rail fanning your own model railroad,
Yeah,
essentially.
except there are 20 trains running at once.
Yeah. That'd be good, and will be good once we get that all worked out.
Yeah, no, I'm super excited. I'm looking forward to finishing the section that I'm working on. I don't know when it's going to be done, but the section after that is going to be fairly straightforward. Although Jader, I might want you to give me some direction.
What is it?
Farms and
All right.
fields.
I can help.
When that day comes.
I was gonna say, like, I'm
Yeah.
pretty busy for now,
Oh
but
yeah,
yeah,
no, I know.
like,
Trust me, I am too.
Yep.
On another note, I've compiled all but one line for the next scene of To Rule the World. So
Hey.
that will be shipping off to you, Milky, as soon as I get the last line.
Thank you.
and then it'll
Just
come
give-
back to me. And
Just give me fuel. I require
Yes. more fuel
Every-
units.
more fuel.
You know, I've had an interesting problem with automation and Tolbrent and fuel units.
Oh,
I can't figure out, and it might be different per engine, but I can't figure out, A, if the AI actually cares that they're consuming fuel, and B, if they're actually consuming fuel. So, also, I can't get them to pick up more sometimes. They just refuse to. I'll direct them to go to like a water
Yeah.
column, and they'll just
I
freak
know
out.
that feel. Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
oh wait, would it work to put, you have it drive to the water column, it fills up, and then you have it wait for another minute or so. Because since they don't like consume as much fuel as like you want,
Yep.
you just have them sit there, and it takes up the time that they would otherwise take to fill up.
To load. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
thinking about that. My other alternative is, I could just have them drive there and then use a load locomotive command.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I
do
don't
that.
even have to worry about them trying to get to the water column. But it's it just sorting through all these stupid problems that trains creates when you're trying to make automation.
I honestly wish I'm sure this is something you want too, that the programming window, I guess, was much more user friendly.
Well, you know what I wish? I wish we had if-then statements. That's what I want.
Yes,
I want to be
I'm not
able
a programmer, but yes, please.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I like to
couple up the
program.
car and then decouple from that particular car. Yeah, that'd be nice.
If this is here, then do that. Or, if you're running low on fuel, then go fuel up, or whatever. I mean, honestly, though, this is a realization I've had when working on Tolbrent. You think you want the AI to be able to figure out stuff on their own, but you don't. What you
No.
actually want is to be able to tell the AI exactly what to do, so they will do the same thing every time.
You gotta hold their hand.
Yeah, it's and it's different on a lot of routes, because a lot of routes it's you driving a train interacting with the AI, but on Tolbrent, ideally, or at least right now, it's just the AI.
Yeah.
The AI interacting with AI, and there's no need to ask the AI to make decisions in that situation. You can make all the decisions ahead of time, because the trains are always going to be in the exact same place every time you start the scenario. You don't have to account for a human going in there and messing stuff up. So I just, I sort of bit the bullet and was like, well, I guess instead of the tower selecting things, the interlocking selections are going to be built into the train schedules. And instead of having them figure out how to get through the yard, they're going to have a bunch of track marks and stuff like that. And yet they still screwed up, but at least it's better.
Yeah.
So Achilles, when you went to repaint your new engine, did you go and buy that Utah belt thing to repaint?
I haven't repainted.
I just know
Yeah.
that was the most absurdly priced piece of
Yeah.
HO scale equipment ever.
I'm hoping maybe one day that the KCB&W can become the next Utah belt, but I will put DCC in my engines because I believe in DCC. So,
DCC is good for you. What
Wait
system
a
are you
minute.
using?
what?
What did Jader say?
I
Oh,
don't. I don't say.
I was gonna ask, is that Utah belt thing not DCC?
Eric Ruman doesn't believe in DCC.
What the fuck?
It's like It was like $1,300, right?
What
Yeah.
the fuck? No.
It was
That is
standard
not a-
DCs.
no.
There were, and only
No.
the ditch lights and the headlight worked. The Mars light didn't.
No. That is not okay.
It's amazing that would sell for that much. Amazing.
Yeah.
Anyway, we had an operating session of the Providence Northern this past weekend as well. And I got to run Steam. Legally, mind you. I was
Ooh.
setting
How the
up...
hell did you do that?
I was setting up for the operating session. I was helping set up a few weeks ago. And... Actually, it was not this past weekend, it was 2 weekends ago, and 3 weekends ago is when I was setting up. Anyway, because this past weekend I was sick. The operating session, right? When we're setting up, we're going around, we're setting up the trains, because we're in a club where people stick around.
Yep.
All the time. It's not a layout that's explicitly built for only operating sessions and nothing else. So that means we have to go out and we have to find boxcars and tank cars and put them together in trains like they're supposed to be. It also
Almost
means that we have to find engine sets for everything. And so I was in charge of grabbing a bunch of engines for these consists that didn't have them, that were sitting in staging for the operating session. And I went, okay. I'm looking around, I'm like, okay, this is going down the branch line, it's going to need 2-axle power, 4-axle power. This is going over the hill, it's going to need a lot of engines. And then it's like, he goes, okay, I need to put engines on the loaded coal drag it's sitting in staging, or sitting in the reverse loop. And I went, okay. He goes, make sure I can get up the hill. And I went, okay. And I walked back around to Providence, and there is he's not a former member because he's still alive, but he is in a nursing home and probably won't be coming to the club anytime soon or ever. He has an A-class just sitting in Providence Yard. And I went, And I went and I put it on the front of the train, and JB didn't say no. And, it's like 12:18. It was like 12:50. It was... I don't remember what the number was. It was 20:44, actually.
Okay.
And, I don't know what actually it was, what the engine was, or if that number is prototypical or whatever. But that's that's what the engine was. And I was like, yeah, it's 1984, it's 1985. It's they're running a fan trip with it, pulling a coal train. It's appropriate. He's like, okay, make sure I can get up the hill. First of all, that thing's garbage.
Oh, no.
It could not get up the hill. So I went and I found we have 2 Norfolk Southern GP35s on the layout.
Yep.
2. And they were in different consists on different sides of the layout. So I got them both, consisted them together, consisted them to the steam engine, which was not at all speed matched with them, and just barely could make it up the hill.
Nice.
Then I parked it back in the reverse loop and waited until the next week. The next week, operating session's actually going pretty great. There are some hang-ups here and there, but the computers are working fine, the radios are working mostly okay. We have a lot of visitors in from other places. I was paired with this guy from New Jersey who was just visiting Rhode Island and happened to come at the right time for the operating session. And so he was like, yeah, I want to be part of the operating session. I'll come back next week. And so we came back and we were just trading off who's going to be conductor, who's going to be engineer. Not that you need 2 people to do it, but why not? We're going back and forth, and every time we go in to pick up another assignment, I'm like, hey, you got to give me the coal drag, JB. You got to give me the coal drag. And he's like, all right, we're coming over to the end of the operating session. He's like, all right, it's time for you to run the coal drag. So he gives me the thing, and I just sort of glance at the paper, and I go, yeah, I get it. And so I take it out of the reverse loop, I run past Framingham, and I pick up a helper because I know I'm going to need it. We're going up the hill, and I look down at the sheet and go, wait a minute. We're not supposed to be going up the hill at all.
Nope.
We have to back up and use the branch line, which is mostly level, mind you. The B&M branch, which is not something that anything normally runs on. But it runs past the power plant, which makes sense. And then you just run it there into the reverse loop, and it terminates there. First of all, that's a pitifully short run for this thing that I spent forever setting up and testing. Second of all, I didn't need to get it up the hill. I didn't need those other engines. I just needed to get it to move on flat ground. And, of course, it was my fault because I didn't read the instructions, but I was totally misled as to where this train would be going. And so I had to back it up, pull it into the right track, and I just sort of went, why did you make me have to get it up the hill? And he's like, well, I figured you'd come back next time and run it around the layout, because that's what you do. And I was like, you son of a gun. It's like, I'd like to stage all trains so they could make it up the hill. It's like, yeah, but if I knew, I wouldn't have gone crazy getting the helpers and doing this, that, and the other thing, and whatever. Anyway.
Well, speaking of op sessions, it's been a couple months since I was last on the podcast, and as a result, I've gone to a couple op sessions at the same railroad. So, as of recent, I've been trying to stick my feet into new waters and, trying to try some new jobs out. So today, last session, I didn't originally get the job I wanted, which was to work Riverton Yard, like I had gotten the previous month, which I'll go into here in a minute, because I have some stories about that, too.
Oh, boy.
I instead decided that after Riverton Yard went in the crew call, or not in the crew call, the job draw, I just decided I'd run a local. Well, I got the cars for the local, and the locals kind of operate weird on this railroad. They operate out of the yard that you switch down to the main yard and then back.
So it's a turn.
It's a turn, yeah.
Yeah, but it's a turn, but that's sort of backwards.
It's not main yard, local to a specific area, back to main yard. It's local specific area to main yard, back to local specific area.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway,
Okay.
What you do is you get when you're working the local, you switch the cars out, and then you break the crossings for the next person who works the local in the next session. So I got all my cars out, and I had 19 cars, I think, to go back down to the main yard. So I get down to the main yard. Dispatcher calls me in, and the guy who is working Riverton Yard basically tells me that he has five cars for me, and that it will be over an hour if I want more. And I wasn't going to wait an hour, so I went back and had 5 cars for the 19 I took out, which was fine, because I got up there and had the local done in an hour and a half. And after that, I didn't have anything else to do. And it just so happened I was friends with the staging yard master, who was working staging, and he wanted to go upstairs and work dispatch because the dispatcher didn't want to work dispatch anymore. So he went upstairs and worked dispatch. He went upstairs and worked dispatch, and I got thrown onto staging for the first time ever. And that was an experience and a half, because
What do you do there?
you basically, so when trains come in off the railroad, they call it Ogden dispatch. When trains come off the railroad, basically you have to pull them in and then run them around in the reverse loop and put them back where they need to be for the next session.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So I was working that, and then you also have to send trains out with crews.
Mm-hmm.
So it was very difficult to manage both trains coming in, because there was a time when I had, I think, 3 trains that needed to come in and were on the edge of the railroad, and I had a train that needed to go out the other direction, which was fine, but I also had a train that needed to go in contrast, or the opposite direction to the trains that needed to come in. So I was on my toes. I don't think I sat down for almost 3 straight hours, walking all around the layout, flipping switches, trying to get trains back in. It was hectic. So I eventually, the session ended, and everybody told me I did a good job, so I was pretty happy. But anyway, now I mentioned previously that I had some stories about Riverton, which is the main yard. So the last month, through some sketchy card trading, I was able to obtain Riverton Yard. Riverton Yard. So essentially, the pull system, the job draw system, you draw a bunch of cards.
Okay. I've been playing a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh, so...
What?
Nothing. Never mind.
I don't get that. Card 2 gets to go second, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And so... Hold on, I gotta take a drink. Through some illegal card trading, because it is technically illegal, but it's fine, I got a hold of Riverton Yard.
He's talking about his illegal dealings on...
Yep.
Live,
Illegal
on
monopoly.
air.
Yeah.
Thank goodness nobody's going to watch this.
Yep.
And so there were already a few trains in the yard I needed to switch, and so I got those done in like an hour, and then there was nothing. And I was like, dang, this job is really easy. I love it. I don't have to do anything.
Said no one on the railroad ever.
Yeah.
And then I get a call from the dispatcher saying, "Hey, I got a manifest that needs to get into your yard. Can you take him?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I can take a manifest." Manifest pulls in. "Hey, I got a manifest that needs to get into your yard. Can you take him?" I'm like, "I can take two." I get one switched. "Hey, I got a manifest that needs to get into your yard."
No.
So
Done.
right at the butt end of the session, I got spammed with about 5 different manifests that I needed to complete switching, and then I got swamped with one local who had taken forever. There's only one local that operates Riverton, local switching back to Riverton, and then that guy decided that would be ample time to come back into the yard. So right at the butt end of the session, I had about 6 different trains that I had to switch, and I said, "This job is hell. I am never going back, and I will never touch that yard again."
Ooh.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah.
I love that. I was going to be a yard master this time around, but I really wanted to run my cold drag with steam on it. Also,
Okay,
after I had finished running my legal steam, I went and ran some illegal steam. I took my mogul, stuffed it in a roundhouse, and then I got a train that had an engine that had a change of power at that location. And I was like, I can take anything, right? Anything that's here in the yard, right?
Ooh, that reminds me. When the one good thing that I think I did right when I was working, when I was working the yardmaster, which, by the way, everybody said I did a good job, but that's okay. As yardmaster.
Wait, what?
So everybody said I didn't like working yardmaster, but everybody said I did a good job at it.
Good job.
Yeah.
But I had gotten bored, and I had to send out the transfer manifest to the other yard. And the crew who was originally working that had something happen and had to leave. So there was no power for it because they brought their own power for the train. So
Okay.
I was looking through the power I had in the yard, and I was looking at my switch power. And Milky, you'll like this. I had my switch power that I was using was 2 SD7s. And I was
Yeah.
so funny if I sent those across the whole mountain pass. And so I put those 2 SD7s on a train with about 21 cars, somewhere in that range, and sent them right over. And it was the coolest thing.
Yeah.
I'm surprised I didn't get yelled at because it's not standardized. It's not a standard thing. And you're supposed to use a set thing of power for everything, but I didn't.
Oh,
But I
Freight to move, money to make.
yeah.
didn't get
See,
yelled
that's
at.
just sad. I don't think it's like I get having the you know the operating session be sort of standardized so that every time you know what's going on, but I don't think it's cool that you have to have the same power every time.
Well, it's not even that. Like there's the job, the Atlantic City job, which is the most memorable job because it's the one I told that I started working in the last story, in the first story.
Mm-hmm.
That's used the same two set of power, an Alco C425 and a GP38 for the entire time I've been operating there. It's
Wow.
going to be a year next month.
Wow. And see, when we run operating sessions, sometimes you don't even know if you have box cars or auto parts cars. It says box cars, but you might not have any box cars.
Yeah.
Like regular box cars. You might have reefers instead. It's like, so am I supposed to drop these off? Are they square? Yeah, drop them off.
That's kind of how we do it.
If we can't find the right cars, we have to substitute with cars that look like them.
Yep. Because we have, like it's sometimes we'll try to do a little op session, but like all the reefer cars are, someone else is running them. So it's like, well, shit. Okay, just grab, we need 2 cars for the ice house or whatever. Okay, just grab 2 random box cars at a staging. You're good.
This reminds me of a Person X
just hand
story.
God them to West Yard. You're good.
This reminds me of a Person X story, a legit
Oh,
Person X
my-
story from way back
That's
in
a
the day.
name I haven't heard in
So
a while.
he came in, this was ages ago. He came in, and me, I'm normally live and let live. I don't really care what else what you're doing in a layout, or anything really. You do whatever. I'm gonna do my thing. I'm not gonna try to get in your way, even if you're doing something really annoying, like taking all of the tank cars on the layout and putting them into one train, which happens to be what he was doing. Except I had a couple tank cars in my train. And I intended to keep them in my train. And he did not like that.
Oh boy.
So I'm going around trying to, just do whatever. Probably just driving in circles, because that's what you do. I don't think I was switching or anything, because that would have left them far too vulnerable. But he got so pissed off that I wouldn't let him have my tank cars, because he wanted to make a train with all of the tank cars. And I was just like, no, I want them. And, on the inside, like, Mwahaha. He actually got brought up. Like, he gets brought up almost every time we go to vote somebody in, because it's like, well, at least it's not, whatever.
Yeah.
At least it's not, insert name here.
Yeah.
And we love to bust chops when we vote people in. But we might have gotten some new members out of that operating session, at least I hope so.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. We also now have an RDC on the layout. I don't know where it came from, but it's there.
I hate RDCs. There's one on that same layout, and it gets so annoying because I have come to hate RDCs so much.
Why?
Oh.
Please elaborate.
Because the RDC is like hell. Because it's the only passenger train. There is Amtrak on the layout. There is Amtrak, and there's one per every other set. There's one every other session. One. So, like, in session trick 1, I'm just going to say this real quick. In trick 1, there's the westbound, and in trick 3, there's the eastbound.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, the Bud car, unlike Amtrak, stops at all the stations on the railroad. Which means you have to contend with not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5 different people trying to work their locals when you work the RDC. And you also have to work with Riverton Yardmaster, because for the RDC to go down the branch line, you have to go through Riverton Yard.
Mm-hmm.
So I was working the RDC. This was like my second or third month operating there, and I got assigned to the RDC. And, the whole trip's going pretty normally. I had made 3 out of my 5 station stops, and my 4th station stop was down the branch line. Now, Lancaster is the terminating town on the end of the branch line, and it's a switching puzzle and a half. It is crazy. You have like 18 different switches, and like
Can you send a picture of it next time?
Yeah, no, I want to visit this layout now. Damn.
Can we guest operate there on the Utah trip?
I can. I mean, I don't think so, unfortunately, because
illegal card dealing.
I'm trying to find a photo. See if I have a photo on my phone. Oh, here we go. Yes, I do. All right, sweet.
I want to see this shit.
Let me.
I'm pushing to get the RDC used during our operating session for something like that. But I'm also pushing to get the PN train, because let's face it, it's 1985. I'm trying to get the PN train replaced with an Amtrak train. Because
all right, that thing on the bottom, that is Lander.
Holy God, that looks fun.
It's actually it's quite easy, because the RDC is the only outside train you have to deal with.
Am I like getting my perspective twisted, or is that a really steep hill in the back?
Yeah, look. Holy God.
Yeah, I think it's kind of that I'm tilted, but it is a really steep hill.
How steep?
Jesus.
I mean, you gain a feet in about 5 to 7 feet of track. You gain a foot in about 7 feet of track.
So that's
like
what, a
7% grade.
It's like what's the
cog
trip that goes over itself? A loop?
Tehachapi?
No, it's
Are you
a
talking about the Hawassi loop?
like a Hawassi loop. So you go into that tunnel, you come out back where the
brother.
You go around, you go over the original tunnel, and then you come back out on top.
Oh, Williams Loop on the Fire River Canyon?
Yeah, it's like that.
Okay.
But anyway, back to the story. So
brother.
I was going down to my Lander station stop, which is the little red building you see right there. That's the station. And the Lander guy hadn't finished yet. And so I say, I'm coming down with the RDC. I need you to move for a second. And he goes, well, I'm not going to move because I want to finish my job.
But I'm on a schedule, fool.
I told him, but
People
I'm
to move, money to make.
Like, I don't care. I'm going to be done in like 5 minutes. It took me 25 minutes. I had to wait for him to finish. And then I would
Realism.
up there
Yeah.
for 5 more minutes, and then go all the way back around, contend with another guy who was working a little bit up the branch line, and then go back into Riverton, talk to Riverton, because I still had 2 more station stops. Oh, it was hell on earth.
Meanwhile, all your passengers got out while you were waiting for the
Yeah, and
local.
walked
Yeah.
to the station.
I was waiting a little bit to the right. Let me see if I can
Waiting
find a
on the
photo.
world to change.
Wait. So he was switching that industry where the that grain mill and then the team track on the left with
Okay.
the steel beams.
Nice
Uh,
beam.
And then he was also had to work that grain industry, but those are really difficult because you have to do a ton of switching.
Yeah, this is a really cute area, and it has one of these, the diamonds that connects 2 industries, where you have
Yep.
like opposing industries.
Yeah, it's
And-
a nice area. And then also the aforementioned Atlantic City as well, since I have the photos right here.
Wait a minute, Atlantic City. What?
This is
Blow
the
up the chicken man.
local I was working originally when I told you the first story. This is the place. This is the place. I gotta find the other photo.
That looks fun. Not gonna lie, I want to.
And the mole
I should move to Utah just to run this layout.
just below Atlantic City. And then the actual main line kind of goes behind those. You see that little like kind of off, weird looking
Yep.
thing up
Uh-huh.
top? It's where the main line. The main line's right behind that.
Oh, okay.
But that's Atlantic City, and this is the power that they use and have used for years. I have a photo of the power too. There's the power that they seem to never be able to get rid of. If the photo will send.
Well, because I would assume, like most operating sessions, it's exactly the same day.
I think it's kind of a continuation thereof. Power does get switched. I've seen videos like of Atlantic City before I operated there, running with 2 C&W Jeeps,
Mhm.
but I've never seen it run with anything other than those. And I'm thinking next time if I do work Riverton, I will send it out with different power.
And then you'll get
Blue
thrown out.
boys.
I won't get thrown out. Oh, and then I have one more thing to show the aforementioned Riverton. There's that as well.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
This is not as like it's got a lot of tracks, but I feel like there isn't as much car capacity as I expected.
No, there's not. It's kind of a. It takes so if you get a straight shot across the railroad, you can be. So the other end of the railroad is actually literally to the right of the yard. You see how there's those 2 tracks on the ledge right
Yep.
there that turn. The bottom one is the main line. That's Bear River. That's on the other end of the layout, and you can be there if you get a straight shot and you're doing, a modest amount of speed steps.
About
You can
30
be there in
speed.
15. So like a modest speed, you can be there in 15 minutes. 10 minutes. It's a quick run, but it's there's so many trains and so many sightings that sure it takes usually during an op session it takes 20 to 35 minutes on a good day to run across the railroad if you're not getting held up for 30 minutes, which has happened to me multiple times.
Okay.
Question:
hmm
Did the 2? How many engines on the layout have sound?
Most of them.
Awesome.
He likes TCS a lot. He likes TCS pretty much.
I mean, TCS isn't bad, but I mean, I prefer ESU, especially with like EMD stuff, because you can just rev it the hell up and then release it.
I've been thinking about asking if he wants me to do a couple TCS installs for him, because I mean,
TCS is
For
fun.
money.
not TCS, ESU installs for him. Like I wouldn't mind installing ESU in that Elko and the Jeep for him.
Almost because they put it in the Jeeps. That'll be fun. Because I love doing that with my my Raccoon Creek Jeep. I put a low sound in that. I love switching with that thing. And it pulls pretty well too for a Bachmann. Like I'm impressed.
Bachmann. Ugh. No.
I love Bachmann.
And
Here's one question for you, Achilles. One
Yes.
very important question.
Yes,
You said you're making this layout of this railroad.
the KCDNW. It's going to be a full size layout in my dream world.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what kind of DCC will you be using?
NCE.
Good.
You've made
That's
the right choice.
That's the correct answer.
Also, just for the record, you weren't here last time. I'm not sure if you listened to the podcast from last time, but I went through like training on the Providence Northern's electrical system, and the main DCC is NCE, and then the detection and signals go through Digitrax controllers.
Why?
I don't know. Because somebody decided that the best thing about having two different systems is the ability to use both of them
Wheezing.
at once.
Strange wheezing.
Does anybody know anything, by the way, about cats?
They're cute and fluffy.
Like it's a computer-aided train simulation thing.
I vaguely
No, I don't.
No.
I vaguely know what you're talking about.
Viewers, do you know what the hell this is?
Like, does it generate switch lists? That kind
No,
of
it
thing?
doesn't generate switch lists. It
What does it do?
communicate between staging and like a dispatcher of like a list of where trains are, what trains are are on the railroad, and then you can create extra trains if you want to.
That sounds fun.
With the dispatching JMRI system. So I was going to go over there, and I'm talking with the. I guess I'm kind of one of the premier operators on the Salt Lake Southern, which is what the SLS, the railroad, is. I'm one of the premier operators, even though I've been there for like a year, but it's fine.
Hey, that's good.
One of the people who, the guy who kind of manages everything, manages the op session, he doesn't own the layout. He's a separate guy. He kind of manages the tech and everything, and said if you asked me if me and some other people wouldn't mind coming down and helping him set the system up eventually. So maybe the next time I'm on the terminus, I can provide a report with that. But
Okay.
Cool. Yeah. No, that looks like a really cool layout.
I can see if I can get you guys in. I mean, obviously this guy is just as much of a rail fan as the rest of us, so he might be busy.
Yeah.
But I'll talk to him. I will talk to him.
No, I can believe.
That's excellent.
I don't know when Chris is going to come back, and I'm not sure how much longer we want to draw out this section.
I have a little bit more that I can put in.
Well,
Yeah,
what
I
I'm saying,
have a little bit after Milky.
what I'm saying is, if we run out of stuff, instead of going someone needs to
'Cause
take
this
Chris's
is
place
filler.
supporting 503, because we know what we're doing for Locomotive Error.
Spoilers.
Spoilers. I'm not going to say what it is, except there is a 503 involved.
501c3?
No,
No, that's a different thing.
no, wrong. Your chum. I'm just saying somebody's going to have to do the and actually take that
I'll do
spot.
it. I'll do it. Then I will do it.
Okay, well,
Okay.
if you do it, then you're going to be supporting 503.
I mean, do I have to enter locomotive versus to do it?
I'm telling you do.
If I don't do it, do I still have to enter?
Wait, what?
If you no, you said you didn't want to support 503. This is me forcing you to do it. That's what I'm trying to do right now.
Side, I would.
This is a horrible trade deal.
Yeah, it's the worst deal maybe ever.
The negotiations weren't good, or whatever that prequel meme is. I forget. Yeah.
All right. Well, what do you guys then, Milky Jada? What are you guys on about? Because I mean, I can rattle
Okay.
on all day about.
I have something to
Take
piggyback
notes,
off
Steve
of operating systems. Recently, the Garage Platformers and Wix includes myself, we have started a creative Minecraft server with the Terrarium mod, which allows us to, in 1/10 scale, go anywhere in the world, as far as I know. So where did I start off? Portland, Oregon, of
Mhm.
course.
Also, everyone here should know that Minecraft is not, in fact, an accurate simulation of the world as we know it. Do not take this as an example of, proof that the Earth is flat, even though it definitely is.
Yeah.
This is not proof of it.
Yeah. Right.
Did you know people actually there was actually a documentary released trying to prove the Earth is flat? Seriously? There was a documentary, and during the documentary they did a bunch of experiments, and they all proved them wrong.
I need to watch this
Yeah.
just for the shits.
Anyway.
But yeah, some guys are starting. There's a team building from Philadelphia to New York. There's another team building in the Midwest near Kansas City, and then there's me building out west.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Milky, do you want to build the Oregon short line?
I wasn't planning on
I
this.
should go build New Haven. Because if somebody's starting from New York, that means I can actually get to them. And, more importantly, that means I can support the part of the Northeast Corridor that no simulator ever decides to frickin' put
Yeah.
on their Northeast Corridor.
Well, Railworks made NYNH.
Yeah, they made it, but not as part of their corridor. Not as part of their base Northeast Corridor. Hey, we exist, you know. We're up here. I'll give MSTS a pass, because it wasn't electrified yet, but
Wait, was it
Fast.
not electrified in 2002?
2002, was it? I thought it came out in...
It
Well, yeah,
came
so
out
it
in
started
01.
running in 2001.
Did it? Okay, I didn't think it was electrified by then.
It was electrified by 2000.
Okay.
'Cause I watched a video about it the other day.
Either way, they
Wait.
had just done that. But like, come on. Every time I see something that's like, drive the Northeast Corridor, I'm like, yeah, and then I'm like,
And then
wait, you
other
bastards.
disappointment.
So,
Well, you used to do Northeast Corridor to get routes.
I mean, just
Just
I can
say-
come on there and do it.
Yeah, I'm sure someone will do it at some point, and admittedly, the 1/10 scale is kind of... It's
Lame.
good, and it's bad, because you see why in the map view of Portland. Why?
Yeah,
That's supposed to be like a 50-track yard, and...
and it's 2.
Yeah, electric service between New Haven and Boston began January 31st, 2000.
Okay, thank you.
And Portland also has the only roundhouse on my railroad.
Also, what the hell is up with the river?
Okay,
Why is the river
Okay.
made out of crumpled paper shapes?
because it links it to the ocean,
Okay.
and it's... The river isn't fully connected like it should. At some point, I'm going to go through with TNT, blast all of that through,
Fill up
and
with water.
fix the river. Yeah,
Well, that's
Good.
as it should be.
because realistically, that river goes down all the way to Lake Oswego, where in the screenshots my current and the track was, I've since gone about 10 miles west, and I plan on building the Port Tillamook Bay as my first segment, and I'm probably going to head south from Portland after that, which is why I built the yard in the first place. But yeah, that's what I've been up to, and this roundhouse. Where the roof has since been raised. I've been informed that Strauss put an engine in there. And I got a little bit of a redesign. In terms of the general layout of it, I have three SW, I have two SW, I have three SW1500s in the roundhouse. And then I have a spur going off of it a little bit to the southeast that has Skookum on it.
Oh boy.
And I did test it. Skookum can fit on that turntable.
And also, Skookum is the 12-wheeled beam machine.
Yes, it is. Now, question.
16, isn't it? No, 12.
Yeah, 12.
What?
Is this all like in creative mode or is it in survival?
It's all in creative, but we plan on doing op sessions in adventure mode.
Okay, shit. I need to do this.
Doing op sessions.
Because-
Op sessions. Okay, I'll see you in a few days. I'm going to start this train from Oregon.
Yeah.
It's
I
like-
want to do this now.
It's like Run 8, but blockier.
Run it,
God,
but with more
because,
pixels.
God, because Vancouver, in real life, is across the river from Portland. But in Minecraft, it's like 2 kilometers away.
Yeah. I can see my house from here.
Yeah.
Yeah, just think if I tried to build something at Rhode Island. I would place down a piece of track and be done.
Yep. Exactly.
I mean,
But-
give me the forested mountains. I'll build the Hocking Valley.
Yeah.
Well, you'd build a tenth of the Hocking Valley.
Give me the mountains in Utah. Build Heber.
Nah.
Heber
Hocking
is
Valley
chill.
runs Steam.
Oh yeah. I'll plug that more when we get to the news.
All right, well, let's get to the next section before we friggin'...
I still won't have my shit.
We're at an hour for the section. Okay, go.
That's what makes it good. Okay, I'll keep this brief. All right. So first, I'm going to start with the model rating stuff, sort of piggyback on all the steam engine talk we were doing earlier. I sort of went through and made myself a list of all the steam engines that I, as of like last week and tonight actually, that I would want to get or that I have now and would want to upgrade. And two of the more recent ones are a Baldwin 262 tank logging engine.
Oh, thanks.
Was it the Paint Train? Yeah, Paint Train's building one of those out of an 060, and I'm like, you know what? I need to do that. I'll build it out of a 262. Just get a cheap Bachmann 262, put a 040 shell on it, add a smoke box to it, and then you're good. And then Wednesday, I think, I had the idea to build 587. And after doing some research, it's probably like the easiest kit bash you could do. Because there's so many USRA Mikado models. You just take that, you swap some parts, you add a Berkshire tender, you re-letter it, or you renumber it, and there you go.
Yeah.
So those are two of the many projects. And that's just steam projects. I have a ass ton of like diesel projects that I hopefully want to get at least one of them done this year. Hopefully done before the fair, so I can kind of show it off at the fair.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll start dumping pictures. But on February 3rd, I went up to the Hocking Valley for the work day, and I got my first taste of Steam, of working on Steam.
Oh, good. Chris is finally
Wow.
back. All right,
Perfect timing.
Finish your thing, Jay.
I say Steve and Chris shows up. What
Man,
timing?
that's all we had to do? God damn.
Yeah, I got my first taste with Steam. We, what was it? Josh and I went through, we started cleaning out all the soot out of the firebox. We're getting this is all for the annual. We started cleaning out all the soot in the firebox. I drilled out the telltales in the cab, all the ones that I could reach that weren't behind pipes or something. And then we did a quick boiler wash because it was actually somewhat warm that day. Even though there's snow on the ground. And then I brought, let's see.
Hold on, I gotta get this picture of you in the firebox. Jader in the firebox.
Thank you. And then I brought
Damn, dude, that's a lot of soot. You look black.
I was happy. I was the happiest I've been in a long time after that day, though. So,
Welcome to being one of us. One of us.
One of them.
I'm disappointed that this image of number 3 being dragged around does not include you hanging out of the firebox still.
that would be unsafe.
Yeah, it's the
What are you
railroad.
talking about? What I'm
Also, I
surprised
love
at-
this mini-me.
What I'm surprised at with 757, which I'm sure we all know about that, is that they didn't ride in the cab, and 2, they didn't crawl in the firebox while moving to look at shit. Because
Well,
honestly, if I was in the cab of a dead engine being towed around, oh yeah, I'd be down there. Check everything out while you're rolling around, man.
when you're gonna get that opportunity otherwise, I guess.
Yeah.
But
I mean, you can't see anything out of that fire. Like one, it's tight in there. 2, there's no like little, I guess, portholes or something in it.
yeah, it's a firebox.
So,
It's supposed to keep the fire in.
well, or like, I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Flashlight.
but yeah, I got my first taste of Steam, and I want to do it more. We're running Steam specials in March. I'll cover that more when we get to the news.
Sweet. All right. Anyway,
Yeah.
Chris,
Uh,
it's time for.
well, I haven't said what I've done because I've been eating. I joined a roller derby team. That's
That's
about
not
it.
railroad related.
Well, it's next to a railroad.
That counts.
The building is legit. It's next to a railroad.
Go on.
So, it counts.
No, it doesn't. But go on.
Well, is it time?
Is that the only thing you had?
Yes!
God damn it!
Can we get-
What the hell?
Give,
That's it!
give the point for that.
I already did.
Okay.
Is it time?
Yes.
Yes!
That's awful. That was terrible.
We've had worse. Anyway, this week
No offense, Chris.
we have in one corner our favorite 10-wheeler. By favorite, I mean least favorite. Western Pacific 94. Our favorite crotchety bastard.
Yeah.
And in the other corner, we have that other 10-wheeler that almost got scrapped. KCS 503. Can somebody give me a picture of it, please? Who's supporting it again? Alright, it's Chris. Chris is supporting it.
Does anyone else want it?
No,
God damn it.
Damn it.
I'm doing homework. I can't do
Hold
it.
on a second. Let me find a picture of it where it looks good.
That works.
So, not a recent picture.
Hold on, I have the
That's the
picture from
idea.
last time we did this.
For the record, we are going to call it Louisiana and Arkansas 503 because that's what it actually is. It is not, never was owned by Kansas City Southern. Although
the hell
it
is
is
it
a Kansas City Southern design.
Okay, whatever.
Hold on. Wait, oh, God.
Trucks, but okay.
What did you say it
There we
was?
go.
Kansas City, Louisiana? Got it.
The Louisiana and Arkansas 503.
Louisiana or Kansas City? Got it.
Arkansas Southern.
It was painted. If you're going to argue that, it was painted Kansas City Southern when it arrived in Port Arthur.
I'm not arguing anything. I'm just saying words.
Yeah, I am too.
Okay,
I'm
can we
trying
do?
to-
Let's
yeah.
do locomotive versus though.
All right. I need to pull up the sheet because I don't have that open right now.
Well, that's something that you should do.
Yeah.
All
Get
right,
good,
and
Chris.
I think because of
We
the poor circumstances surrounding 503, 503 deserves the first shot.
We're gonna do me first.
Yes,
We're gonna do me first.
yes.
All right. Get myself situated here. Oh God, which one are we? Which logo base is mine?
One of them, the
Huh?
one with 503.
Okay, I guess it's the 400 class.
I'll check.
Yep.
That seems
the only one
odd.
that has 503. It's not even on the list.
Okay, I would.
No, it's the
look, but
502
someone else will
class.
do it.
Scroll down.
Whose craft is
502,
it anyway?
502. Scroll
four,
down.
five,
It's in the
six.
second line of locomotives.
Second, road numbers. I'm looking at road numbers.
No. Look, you see how there are 5 classes listed?
2, 3, 4. Yes.
It's the 6th one listed. So it's down.
Oh, that's stupid.
Wow, how do you think that makes it feel?
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess
It's in the next row of classes. So there you go. You have the 502 class versus the
TP29 superheated.
TV29.
crap.
Okay, yeah, whatever.
It's different.
Okay, so anyway, Chris, you go first. Well,
when were you built?
1909.
1920.
Oof.
Okay, there's one start.
I forget. Did we do builders?
We can
Okay, I'm
do
not gonna
anything on
win.
that list.
Okay.
Except for fuel with these two.
We could do water.
Okay.
Hey, water. Do you
Where
want to do
is-
that?
I need to find my stat and figure it
Okay, I found my water capacity.
out. Yeah, screw it. What's your water?
7,000 gallons.
7,000. We have a tie.
All right,
Damn
Milky,
it.
your turn.
Okay. Oof. I know 503 is pretty good boy.
I mean, just looking at
So
the
I'm
two
gonna go
images.
for.
Go ahead.
But you're gonna could be. No, I'm not doing that. Okay. What is your trigger diameter?
Ah, I knew it.
Where is it? Try for wheel. Hold on. I have to reacquaint my. There it is.
No,
57 inches.
6-7 inches.
I hate this.
10 inches.
Small driver.
I fucking
Yeah.
hate this homework.
Okay, so I got that point. Good. I need to actually scroll down to the points. Okay, so it's my go.
Yep. Continue.
Hmm.
You blew him away. That was the one thing I was going back and forth and going, yeah, I know who wins that one.
How many of you were built?
Yes.
Yes.
What?
I guess 2.
Okay.
I suppose, because we're not going to count the other classes.
Yeah. Of course.
Wait a minute. 502, 503, 504. Wait a minute, this is wrong. It says road numbers 502 to 505, but it says number built 2.
Maybe.
Excuse me, what?
What? What?
Don't ask questions.
Don't ask.
Well, is it 2 or is it 4?
Alright, does that matter, Milky?
No, it doesn't. Because I have a sweet 21 that was
Okay, so no, it doesn't
superheated.
matter.
Why
We're
would you
gonna go
build
with 4, though.
21?
Okay, okay.
It's such
okay,
an
there's
odd
a-
number to build, and it's actually
There's a little bit of a backstory to this.
Oh, we don't need the backstory. What's your next
Yeah, we
stat?
can get the backstory later.
Okay. Who? Alright, no. What is your boiler pressure?
Boiler pressure. 200 pounds per square inch.
Same. Damn it.
Alright.
Yay!
Chris, your turn.
Although no.
You're only down by 1 point.
Do you have a stat for great area? Yes or no?
Yes, I do.
Okay, you do have a stat. Okay, I'm not asking that. I'm just curious.
Sounds like he's concerned with the stat for great area. Milky, keep that in mind.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm concerned or not. I wasn't sure because, call it oil. I wasn't sure if he had one or not.
Oil can have great.
What is your tractive effort?
Okay, 29,090 feet.
40,418.
Oof.
Holy shit, that's a lot of power.
Go get him. Go get him.
Come
on, that should tell you a lot.
That should, but it doesn't because I don't know what's inside of 94. Actually, I can't tell because I can see the side. So.
Smiley face.
What is your great area?
My great area is 33.60.
Ooh, 34.4.
Okay.
Oh my god. Way to be that guy, Chris.
Way to be those guys,
half
not
an
Kansas
inch
City
makes it
Southern.
count. Firebox area?
My firebox area is 228 square feet.
Damn it, 188 square feet. That's what I was
Yeah.
afraid of.
Aw.
Because you were built as a wood burner, if I remember correctly.
I don't think I was.
I remember reading that somewhere. So, alright, okay.
So.
Sorry. Your
Okay.
ball.
Do you have a superheater?
That's not
Yes.
a stat.
I do have a superheater.
I know. I'm just curious because what's the superheating surface, mate?
My superheating surface is 548 square foot.
Yes, 568 square foot.
Oh my god. This is a lot closer than I expected.
Yeah.
I'm treading very lightly.
Except for one stat so far.
Yeah. Oh, trust me, there's more.
But wait.
Yeah. What's your evaporative heating surface?
2,449 square foot.
Damn it!
Ooh.
2,245 square foot.
Oh my goodness. That should tell you something.
Four square foot. Okay, that one's out. That one's just completely out of the water.
Chris, what's life without a little bit of risk? Why don't you ask it?
Shader sounded like he was asking something.
What? No.
Okay, no, never mind. That was
I'm just cursing myself for not getting this homework done earlier.
What is your minimum weight of rail?
Oh, good question, Chris. 75 pounds.
85 pounds.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Milky.
Okay.
That should tell you
What?
something.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, I just saw something very interesting. Okay, remember that.
Which,
do you have axle loading?
Where's that at? Yes, I do have an axle loading stat.
Okay.
Or
Uh,
no, actually no, I'm wrong. In fact, I don't have axles. I just have discs. There is no load.
Okay.
Milky, which
What?
class of locomotive are you?
Oh, Chili's. Are you on
Chili's
the?
cheating.
What? I haven't. What?
You can't
I'm
look
not a part of either side.
Yeah,
I
but you
thought-
can't look at the stats.
Oh, I can't?
No.
No.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I wasn't aware. I'll shut up for the rest of the night.
Good.
You can look at as
No.
many pictures as you want, but you cannot look at the stats of the two locomotives.
Oh, alright. Sorry, my bad.
Okay. Okay, fine. Okay, so no axle loading.
Should have told
I said I do
class.
have an axle loading.
Oh. You
I
He just
said
doesn't have
jokingly
axles.
that I didn't have any axles.
Oh, okay. Fair. Okay, then what is your axle loading then?
Let's see here. Maximum weight per axle is 51,600 pounds.
Damn it. 45,000 pounds, even.
No, that's better.
That's good.
Yeah. That's better.
Okay.
I mean, I'll take it if you want to give it to
No.
me. But
Milky, continue.
What's your weight on drivers?
weight on drivers is 153,000 pounds on the dot.
Mine's 135,000 on the dot.
Alright. It's now
Engine
7 to 4.
weight.
Engine weight 194,000 pounds.
Wow. I'm 181,000 pounds.
You
Those
get
are
those
both
bigger drivers.
Really light.
Well, I have a question, since this is the only stat I can seem to remember out of memory. What is your Robert Lee Messina's power computation?
Ba, ba, ba.
I am 6,880.
Wow. I'm 6,720.
Wow.
Yay, I win.
Wow.
Yeah.
He takes
But
it.
it doesn't matter because
Wow.
Milky's on the ball.
Yeah.
Yes.
Milky still has the ball. Okay,
Hey,
Milky, continue.
I'll
Curse you
continue
and-
the massacre.
Thank you, Jellies.
What's your tender road weight?
Tender loaded weight 143,300
Yes.
pounds.
132,000 pounds.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, give me the total.
Total engine and tender 337,300 pounds.
I'm 313,000 pounds even.
Nice.
Sorry,
Okay.
can you stop, please?
It's 10 to 5.
Party's supposed
If you
to
just
go.
have to mess up once and then go on a run, alright?
See, the thing, yeah, that's the thing, right? You have all the power stuff on your side, but you haven't used it. So, Mookie, continue. You need to get 5 more points. Somebody needs to get 5 more points before we can go to style.
Did we do evaporative heating surface? Oh, yeah, we did. Never mind.
Yeah.
Never mind. Okay. What's the evaporative heating surface divided by cylinder volume?
198.8.
215.39.
Wow, that's really good.
Okay,
And Chris is really bad.
what's the same as above plus superhero percentage?
Robin, 8118.
Damn it!
Yes.
8,064.
Okay. How many
Nice.
points do we have on the board?
We have a total of 17.
God damn it!
It's 11-6.
Then you get to activate my trap card.
I have discovered something while looking at a photo. 503 is in fact oil fired.
Oh, yeah.
And what, are you going to do that stat now?
Yes, I'd like to do that stat. How
Okay.
many gallons of oil can you hold?
Okay, I can hold 3,019 gallons.
Say that again.
3,019 gallons.
According to this, wait a minute, it says 14.
Chris.
14 what?
That tinner cannot hold 14 tons of coal. 14. I don't think it can hold 14,000 gallons either.
Looks like it only holds 14.
That's
Okay,
tons
so
of coal,
maybe you
Chris.
built
That's 14 tons of coal.
3383.
Yeah.
But it can't. That tinner couldn't possibly hold 14 tons. We're just going to
built
this. Never mind. I didn't ask that question.
it.
That was
Who-
not
whoever
only-
built it,
never
I'll be
mind.
completed.
Continue.
Yeah.
Power L1.
18,207.
God damn it! 12,800.
Power MT.
Why? Oh my god.
God damn it!
How could this happen?
How good this happen?
Power MT, Milky said.
Yep.
Power MT.
Yeah.
Yep.
554.79.
Ooh, from my ass. 891.99.
Oof.
Damn it!
Ooh.
We now have 19 points on the board.
Okay, 19 points. I might shoot myself in the foot by doing this, but I've been avoiding it for long enough. Driver wheelbase.
Driver wheelbase. 14.83 feet.
13.50.
I can't believe Milky won that.
Wait, oh. Okay, I was being around that bush.
That
for a
was
while.
longer.
No, shorter means you can make tighter turns.
Okay, engine wheelbase.
But here's the thing, Milky's drivers are huge compared to yours. Yours are just massively spaced out.
15 or 15. 25.5.
24.33.
Fucking damn it, you piece of shit.
Okay, this is probably going to be a bad one, but it might not be, depending. Ratio of driver wheelbase overall.
0.58.
0.55.
God fucking damn
No. Longer is better for this one.
You won that berry.
Okay.
It worked in your favor.
Style point right fucking now. Let's go.
Really
Okay.
want- okay. You're down by friggin'. You're
You're-
down by
I don't
gonna-
care. I can
gonna
win
die.
any style points.
No, you aren't.
Okay.
No, you can't.
Hang on, I have a question.
Go ahead,
What?
Jader.
What is your local base ID?
I can do that.
No,
Yeah.
we're out of
Damn it.
stats.
Let's do it.
Chris. All right, fine. Go ahead.
16,352.
I'm 7,625.
Those are both obnoxiously high, but Milky wins.
Okay.
Sorry,
I'm trying to
Chris.
save you,
I tried
Chris.
to help.
Okay, I have one in Puerto Basin. Twice.
Okay.
Well, twice.
Well, look, the ball's still in my court.
No, that's not how it works in style points.
No,
That's how
Chris.
it works to stop.
You have
Style
to be
point-
my trap card.
Style points is free for all. I don't know why you
Play
decided to go to style
yourself.
points.
Because I don't know if I
Okay,
can win
well-
anything else.
So I'm gonna murder you.
Alright. Well, look. I've had a bid in the 21st century to be saved from scrap.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna give him
Oh.
the point for the incredible grassroots campaign to save this locomotive.
Even if it was to be scrapped, all parts would have been saved from the locomotive.
However, Milky also gets a point for not only being in trains, but being in the Iron Horseman Chronicles.
Okay.
That's cheap.
No, it's not. That's always been a point.
Chronicles, his name's Jerry. He's KCS 503.
Also, said 503 has the perk of the town swapping sides on it.
That's
no,
not a
part.
No,
Originally
I-
wanting it and then getting rid of it.
No,
I gave you 1 point for the I gave you 1 point for the cool campaign.
Okay.
Okay, I was at the Golden Spike ceremony of the Western Pacific Railroad.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, fine. I'll fight you in real life over that. But okay, I was the last steam engine, the one on the California Zephyr.
That's one.
There. And
What do you have for air compressors, Milky?
air compressors.
Yeah, I can't see in the photo because it's on the wrong side.
I'm looking at a photo of 503 with 2 single stages.
I have 2 single-stage air compressors.
I'll
Yeah, but I
check
could have
real
probably 1 cylinder size now looking at it.
You definitely would have.
I really wasn't sure.
You definitely would have, because look at the math. You guys had very close evaporative heating surfaces, but your numbers for cylinder for that divided by cylinder size were hugely different. So you have much larger cylinders, I would think. Anyway,
Okay, trying to find a. I think I only have one.
you only have 1 single stage. All right.
I win on that one.
Yeah.
Right, I'm
By
on
the
that
looks of it,
APC.
she had a Pile National Dynamo. Points.
Does Milky, do you not have pile fittings?
I think
I believe 94 has a Sunbeam.
let me check my folio with that.
Maybe why bother for that?
Yeah.
They both have doors.
Too.
Yeah.
While we are checking that, I'd like to give a point of being purchased by Kansas City Southern from a subsidiary to be gifted to a town.
Okay.
Gifted to a town is cool.
Yep.
Well, no, it's not the gifted to a town part. It's the fact that it was gifted. It was bought from a sort line by Kansas City Southern
Yeah.
to give to a town. Therefore, as far as I understand it, it also makes it the last steam engine purchased by Kansas City Southern. But I'm not certain. Most likely it is.
I was in a Disney movie
That's a big deal.
in 1960
Beware the parallel
called
bars.
Pollyanna. I was also kept by the Western Pacific Railroad for special events from 1953 to 1960.
Yeah. I guess being an event locomotive is something special.
Yeah, if I can't get the point for the Golden Spike, I better get.
Yeah, well, I don't know. It's not something that's necessarily special about the class. That's why I hesitate with it. It's like, yeah, you might have been there for some cool things, but it's not something cool about the locomotive.
Okay.
You know.
I think I've exhausted my good style points.
Well, I mean, it's 22 to 10, so
Yeah.
What the hell else can I do? So she still had her original whistle, even sitting outside.
Okay. I still have mine.
Well, yes, but you were preserved by a railroad. Sitting outside in a public park for the better part of 70 years.
That's a story in and of itself.
I have
Right.
Dressel class lamps. Well, you have Adlake. Dressel are rare.
Rare.
There are also oil lamps, too. So, thanks for that.
Did I hear oil?
Type of
Yeah.
checks you have.
I guess that's cool enough.
We both have non-listing injectors. Actually, no. I'm not giving it up yet.
If I were you, I would.
1, 4.
I want to get as many points as I possibly can, which
You're gonna have
currently
fun.
is probably about maybe 2 or 3 more.
At this point, I might as well look up stuff about 94. Is that to my advantage?
No, that's it. I'm done.
Alright, we're good.
We're done.
Alright. The Western Pacific T-29 class wins by the points. 22-11. And let's cast our votes, ladies and gentlemen.
Even though I cannot vote, I would vote for 94. And honestly, just because it's cool.
I also want to vote for 94 because, well, I think it looks better. I think it's a better looking locomotive just in terms of proportions and whatever. 503 looks like, sort of fat. and
I
stubby.
just like 94 because it's a high stepping 460. It's just a neat thing.
Okay, Agilius Jader.
I don't know that I like both these engines, but I'm going to go with 94.
Okay. Agilius.
I'm also gonna go with 94 solely because
Right. No
it
pity vote.
served a little closer to me.
No
then,
pity vote.
Yeah,
All right,
here's
so-
team that-
Normally, I would complain about this, but all honesty, I'm going to say it right now. 503 just should have been scrapped.
Ooh.
Ooh,
So it just should have. Knowing what went on with that and where all that money should have gone, or where all that money went, it just should.
It went to the Bike Trail Destroyer 9000.
yeah.
No, it went to. It didn't go. I'll tell you after the podcast. I can't say that on air. Yeah.
Well, 503 was just scrapped by 94.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, just get the torch out and do it for real.
Anyway.
Well,
Yeah,
that's a lot
anyway.
of damage.
Yeah, that's a lot of damage. Alright, so we now have one open slot for Locomotive Versus ideas. If you have an idea for Locomotive Versus, feel free to post it in the comments down below, and I may include it in a future episode. We have 2 new Versus ideas that are from the viewers that came to fill spots from last time. Those are 765 versus C&O 2716 and 844 versus 611, which is one that I'm excited for whenever that comes around. But
Legitimately, whoever did 765 versus 2716, really, that's gonna sit there forever because
I'm
it's
excited. We'll see. Here's the thing, though. It won't sit there forever because when we can't decide on something, we choose it randomly now.
Yeah.
Last week
No,
was
it'll sit there forever.
last time was the precedent for that. No, I want to see that happen personally. I love it when you have 2 really similar engines that should basically be
But-
the same and seeing what's just a little bit different.
Yeah, like 503 and 94.
Yeah, but that's-
And then not similar engines.
Well,
But that's the thing. These are exactly the same engine.
And we've had that before, and it surprised us before. Anyway, but you know what would be really surprising? If you worked and lived in Boston, and during a snowstorm, your trains were on time.
Yeah.
In fact, commuter rail riders told the news that they were surprised that the trains ran on schedule on Tuesday during the winter storm. And that's sad, but congratulations to the MBTA for being able to keep their trains running on time,
yeah.
like they're supposed to.
Oh yeah. Don't get me started on Snow, Ellis. I have a hell of a story involving around Snow. AKA
yes, you do.
the Amtrak Coast Starlight going from, I believe it was southbound.
I think it was.
got
I'm pretty sure it
stuck-
was.
It got stuck in the snow at Oak Ridge, which is the summit of Willamette Pass, on the Union Pacific Main Line, I-5.
Stuck in the
And-
snow.
Okay,
What?
it was southbound, and it was stuck there for 36 hours.
and they had to bring out the rotaries and cab forwards and the the National Guard had to get out there. And oh wait, no, that's the wrong train. Sorry, never mind.
Yes, the SP is rolling in their grave.
Yeah. The SP already did this.
Yes, and they did it quicker.
They didn't though.
But they did. I thought they did.
No, it was days.
Oh my god.
Well, this was the day now.
Yeah.
But anyway, no one was hurt. Apparently, so that's good. Good.
Yeah.
And there was no way for them to safely transport passengers or crew members via alternative transportation due to bad weather conditions.
Yep.
Sounds
very familiar.
40.
And at the time of this article, the first one anyway, Union Pacific, Amtrak is working with Union Pacific to clear the right of way and get passengers off the train, which they did on the 26th.
Also, clarification, they weren't stuck in snow. There was a tree that had fallen across the tracks.
Okay.
They hit a tree.
So
There was a lot of snow, but it wasn't the snow that stopped them.
Okay. Duetti.
Yeah.
Induetti, it probably was.
Yeah, indirect. It probably meant that they couldn't back up and get out. But there was a tree that was the reason they stopped in the first place. Anyway.
Well, anyways, they made out, as this article says, they made down to Eugene.
Mm-hmm.
And was greeted by all the press ever.
Yeah. No, it's nice that they say in these articles, the spirits were high or whatever. I mean, people were pissed off, but when it gets to these dire situations like, oh man, we are really stuck somewhere, and not like, we're stopped, I can see the entrance to Penn Station from here, why can't we just, whatever. Then people get upset. But when people are actually stranded in the middle of nowhere, it sort of comes down a little bit, and people are like, oh crap, let's sort ourselves out.
Oh, yeah.
Speaking of Amtrak delays, right? The Southwest Chief, our favorite train to get delayed and possibly canceled, was delayed more than 6 hours after after an incident with a vehicle on the tracks. The vehicle was, quote, obstructing the path of a train. So, what they mean is, they hit the vehicle. And, killed someone, unfortunately. I don't know why the vehicle was on the tracks. I don't know if somebody went around the gates, or if they had stalled there, or whatever. I believe there was a story regarding a vehicle being stalled on the tracks, but we have a lot of train-striking vehicle things in these past couple of weeks, including the most bombastic one, which I'm about to get to in a minute. So, this is a continuation. Stephen D. Holdren, 67, is dead after his Jeep was struck by a passenger train. The Southwest Chief was delayed more than 6 hours. Occupants of the train indicated that the Jeep Liberty appeared to be parked on the track with no lights on. So, that, sounds like maybe a failure of the vehicle, or possibly something on purpose. We don't know, and we probably won't know. But, if there are, if your vehicle is stopped on the tracks, don't stay in the vehicle.
Get that.
However, if you happen to be running from the law, maybe, just maybe, pulling out in front of a train seems like the right thing to do. Especially if you're a Florida man. Or in this case, Florida woman. A woman involved in shoplifting was running from the police in her vehicle and was hit and killed by a Brightline train.
Brightline Crime Stoppers.
Yeah.
Law and Order Brightline.
Crime doesn't pay, and Brightline pays even less, because Brightline doesn't make a lot of money. However...
They're trying.
Yeah, they're trying. I'll wrap back around to them in a minute, but that was the most, I guess you'd call it, entertaining death. Obviously, it's not exciting or happy at all, because there was a death, but it's just a little bit like... well, it's the other side of the coin. A couple of months ago, we reported on a couple of police officers chasing down a criminal who got hit by a train. This is the universe balancing it out. That said, there was another vehicle hit by a train. Another fugitive from the law, in fact, hit by a train. On Long Island, which was hit by 2 trains, in fact, an eastbound and a westbound at the same time.
Oof.
It was also, the vehicle was sandwiched between the 2 trains and caught fire. The westbound train, which was carrying 200 people, was derailed and smashed through part of a platform. And you can see some pretty striking images in the link in the cargoes. So, it's amazing that, I don't believe anybody was killed, well, except for the occupants of the vehicle. But there were some people that were taken away with injuries. That's a pretty jarring thing to happen.
Well, on the note of 2 trains and accidents,
Oh, God.
recently in Charlotte, 2 Amtrak trains were 2 separate Amtrak trains.
All right, never mind.
What?
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
2 separate Amtrak trains killed 2 people on the same Charlotte to Raleigh tracks 30 minutes apart. So, again, I'd like to emphasize the fact that these were 2 separate trains. They occurred 30
And 2 separate people.
2 separate people and 2 separate trains in 2 separate areas.
Well,
Obviously.
Almost
So
two
Amtrak
separate areas.
Train 26, which I think is the Silver Meteor.
Your mic's up a little high, by the way.
Oh, sorry. Let me look that up really quick. I wanna know.
We can look that up.
Here.
There
let's
were a
go
lot
see
of
it.
hits.
Yeah, there were a lot of hits. Anyway, Amtrak Train 26 hit and killed a person in Concord, North Carolina, at about 3:30 as the passenger train traveled its regular route from Charlotte to Raleigh. It's the Piedmont.
Yeah.
There were 50 passengers on board that train when the person was hit, and no passenger or crew were obviously injured, but the person died. The second tweet came in, and then that's not important. And then at about 3 p.m., Amtrak Train 77, which I think is either the Silver Meteor or the Silver Star.
No, it's not. Those start with 9.
Oh. Then what are they?
So I don't know.
The Carolinian.
Carolinians, probably, yeah.
Carolinian or Piedmont. One of the 2.
Well, the Piedmont's 20, but anyway. Piedmont's in the 20s, but anyway. Train 77 hit and killed a person in South Boyland and Montford Avenue in Raleigh. There were 35 people on the train, and none of the people were hurt.
Looking at the schedules, the Piedmont is 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, and 78. So I assume the Carolina is actually 26.
Oh, oof, the original article told me it was the Piedmont as 25, but I guess not.
It's the same goddamn reaction.
I don't know. Whatever.
Damn it. Anyway,
Train hit people.
yeah. Speaking of train hitting people,
Oh boy.
Wes hit someone. Wes is the West Side. Like a acronym, but it's TriMet basically.
It's a TriMet, but freight
but-
service?
It's TriMet, but operated by P&W.
G&W.
P&W.
But it's G&W.
That's the
No,
orange plate.
State of Rhode Island in Connecticut. W.
No.
No, but anyways, a woman was struck by a commuter train in Tigard on Tuesday evening. I assume when this was posted. She suffered life-threatening injuries, of course.
Of course.
And it's currently, as of this article, in the hospital, but hopefully got better.
Which article is this? I think I grabbed the wrong one from you.
Yeah, maybe you grabbed the other one that I kind of wanted to talk on.
Oh, okay. I did grab
the
the wrong one.
BMW.
Yeah. I was gonna say, this says it was a dude. Maybe I'm looking at the wrong thing.
There were 2 accidents around the same general area, but not the same area.
2 trains, 2 people.
Uh,
This guy was drunk.
Yep.
However, he had more cognizance than anyone else we've reported on so far, because he was not in the car when it was hit by the train.
Yep.
He got out.
Oh, so he was smart.
Yeah, basically this person has more brains while intoxicated than your average Floridian.
Yep. Apparently.
Listen, if anyone from Florida is listening to this, and I assume there's at least one person that is, I just assume that you're above average because you haven't gotten hit by a train yet or eaten by a crocodile.
Well, what if I've been on a train as
or
it hit
alligator.
something?
Speaking of
it's your
Florida, speaking of Florida and trains and things that are not Brightline, are
Speaking
getting
of
hit
Florida
something.
and trains, boy, this can't end well.
No, it doesn't. The Florida Tourist Line, the Royal Palm Railway, which was also previously known as the Tavares, Mount Eustis, and Gulf Railroad.
Never heard of this railroad.
It is a small tourist railroad out of Mount Dora, Florida, just near Tampa area, which is most notable for having the Clinchfield F unit DXS repainted a couple years ago.
Oh,
That railroad. Yeah, they're basically close. They got a cease and desist.
oh.
They do not own the tracks, and the Florida Central Railway, who operates the operator of the line, no longer wants to keep up the section between Tavares and Mount Dora trackage for passenger specifications. So as of April 22nd, they're fucked.
Here's my dumb question. What exactly are passenger specifications? Because if the Durango and Silverton can run trains, I think anyone can run trains.
There's certain classes for track.
Yeah.
There's class 0 through class 5, I believe, with 5
The
being
DNS is
track.
like class.
Negative.
Most railroads are considered class 4, like standard, normal class 1s. The Allentown and Auburn is a class 1, which is speed limits of restricted speed, which is 15 mile an hour or less, which is what they are running.
So they couldn't pick a different system other than classes, as if they weren't already using the class system for a different thing in railroading?
I believe it's all in 240 and 250 CFR.
Well, the A&A is a class 1. End
No, we are a class 3 short line with class 1 track.
quote. Also, still doesn't sound like it should.
Yeah, no, it doesn't.
Visible confusion.
Yeah.
From what I'm understanding of this, they're downgrading the track to class 0, which would be 5 mile an hour freight traffic only, no passenger.
Jeez. I gotta
Um,
wonder how you make money doing that, even.
I don't know. I mean, obviously, I guess it must be a good financial thing for the Florida Central. The trouble with them is, I mean, they still have some track they can run on. However, they're a 4 mile railroad. There's not really much.
Yeah.
There's not much track to go around
Well, you know.
when doing it. And also, that's the most scenic place, which goes by the lake at Mount Dora.
Yeah, also, 4-mile railroads, they can't survive. You're never gonna...
So
Railroads that
it's
small
all
never
joint
amount to
rail.
Just like me.
They are blaming the Florida Central is blaming this on the rail, basically the length of rail, which may be playing into it that it is older rail that they don't want to do it. However, that really has no bearing because there's rail from 1916 still being used on the Northern Central Railway, or more commonly known as steam into history.
Yeah.
I'm aware. I've seen that railway. I have photos of it.
Anyway.
So there really isn't anything. So it's kind of a sad story. They're not folding. They're going to figure out what they're going to do for the future. I've kind of given up on. Speaking of things that aren't going on in the future, though, because I'm going to keep moving this all right along.
Okay.
I had a great transition.
Well-
The new river train will not be running in 2019.
Surprising nobody.
This actually is very surprising to a lot of people
Is it?
because Amtrak had committed to this
When?
last year.
I thought it was...
They had committed to it for a few years.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, so Amtrak has gone back on their commitment, which is,
Not surprising.
that's not surprising. But the surprising part is that they've actually done this. Currently, the organization that runs it, which I can't for the life of me remembering it, it's the Huntington Railroad Historical Society. They are looking for other forms of doing it. However, for right now, it's canceled. Other forms of hosting it would be just having CSX do it. The way all these things work is that all the insurance is placed onto Amtrak, so that the freight railroad is not held liable if there's a track defect, which is completely stupid.
Well,
I'm sorry,
that's
it's your
because
track.
I agree with you that it's stupid, but the reason that it is, the reason that it is as it was is because the freight railroad does not care about your charter train and just doesn't want to be held liable for anything. And if you're not running,
CXS could just say, well, we're not going to let you use our tracks.
Exactly. That's my
Which
point.
is not what's happening.
But
CXS has no, they don't mind. They like it.
Yeah, they like it if they don't have any liability.
So there's a bunch of stuff here in the thing. From what I understand, knowing people who are involved with it, they are looking for other options to keep it rolling,
Mm-hmm.
So, speaking of things keeping rolling,
Oh my god, I had another.
speaking of things that are
How did
rolling
they go?
along, this is somewhat old news. A Southern E8 returned to the Southeastern Railway Museum from North Carolina Transportation Museum. Wait a minute, no, I'm wrong.
from
This is a different
Juniata.
one. This is a completely different one. This came from
Other
Juniata
E8.
Shops in Altoona. I've seen this unit.
There you
I
go.
was thinking of another unit that was returned. I guess I didn't make the news. There was an E8 that was stored at Altoona for the longest time by NS, and NS has restored it, done the wheelwork, and transported it to the Southern Transportation Museum in the Southeastern Railway Museum in Duluth, Georgia.
Nice.
So
Nice.
I don't have
Speaking of-
one for that. So
Well,
try-
speaking of things that are back
my
where they're
God.
supposed to be,
Segway battle.
White Pass 61's frame has been returned to the engine.
From where?
Yay.
Somewhere in Wisconsin, wherever the
Oh,
other guy was.
No, I don't have any.
At Baraboo?
Uh,
no,
I
where
think.
I don't know. Send me
But
this.
anyways, the frame has been unloaded and it's back with the rest of the engine, except of it anyway. And they're turning the wheels around for it. Yeah, they're making good progress. The one gate is also making some really excellent process. They recently took it out for a rolling test after they completed the valve gear.
Got a flex.
And they were doing about I don't know 10 miles per hour at most. I think they
That's all
took her
can
out.
do.
I think they took her out to the chili line or what's left of
Chili.
it anyway.
So, speaking of taking things out, BNSF looks to take out its weed shipments before they start. So with the
come on,
legalization,
you didn't even use the great pun that's in the title of the article. Please read the title of the article.
Trains Magazine published an article on February 19th titled "BNSF looks to weed out marijuana before shipments before they start."
Boo.
With
Well, I
the
would
legal,
have appreciated that. We're doing that in his memory.
with the legalization of recreational marijuana in Canada and the expectation that pot will become a $5 billion business by 2020, the rail industry has a shipping code for cannabis-related products. I actually didn't know. Wow.
I didn't know they wouldn't have one. You think they'd be looking for it when it was illegal everywhere.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So,
It's legal somewhere. Now we must look for it.
So obviously the export of marijuana is illegal, and BNSF isn't going to take chances with Pablo Escobar trying to ship weed out of Canada and down into the United States on the
Buffalo
BNSF.
Eskimo.
So, BNSF basically saying that it is not going to be found on BNSF and it will not be permitted to move. And Chris, I'm going to steal your article because I really wanted to cover this.
No.
Um,
What article
What?
is it?
What?
How about no?
I have a perfect transition for this article.
Well, what's your
Please.
I'll say it.
Please, no, I'm not going to
No,
tell you what it
no.
is.
Hey
I will
guys,
literally
guys,
take
guys,
a strike
guys,
for this.
guys,
Give me a strike
guys.
if I could take
Oh
this.
my
Guys.
god.
Guys.
No.
Children.
Tennessee Pass in Colorado.
No.
Reading this article.
I posted it.
Children.
This is my railroad.
Hey, Achilles? Achilles?
I'm mad.
Achilles?
What?
Next time I'm gonna answer the question while you're not home.
I literally got my articles. I was getting my articles on the drive home. So don't tell me that, you weren't doing anything until you got home. I had all my articles by the time I got home.
Clearly not all of them.
Well, yeah.
Okay,
obviously
ladies.
not. Either
Ladies.
way, Tennessee Pass in Colorado, a remote piece of railroad between Pueblo and Dot Zero,
Dot one.
which is near the ski resort of Vail, Colorado, recently saw freight traffic for one
Sort
day.
of.
Either way, not over the whole thing because it's a giant boulder south of Minturn.
Among other issues.
Among, landslides and washouts and tunnels and everything. The southern portion of the line between Canyon City and the middle of nowhere is currently used by the Royal Gorge Scenic Railway, which runs through the Royal Gorge.
Really?
Wow. Yes, I don't know. You would have never guessed.
I thought that would run
However,
through scenic
past-
Arizona.
Past the end of the Royal Gorge, there is nothing really. There's Salida and a BNSF crew. Actually, no, excuse me, a Union Pacific crew with BNSF engines.
No,
because,
it was rock and
I-
rail, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was rock and rail. It was a rock and roll crew.
either way, they stole units
Borrowed.
and
Illegally.
ran up the pass to grab 130-ish coal hoppers stored at Spike Buck, which is just a little bit past the middle of nowhere where they terminate the Royal Gorge, to be sold to Herzog, who makes ballast. My
But they're
question
actually going to be
is, why
using
do they
them to
buy
transport
these
wheat.
hoppers compared to anything else? I don't know. Either way, really cool. Hopefully, if things happen, we might have this.
Have
there
what?
might be actual traffic on Tennessee Pass.
No.
I really hope so.
This in no way leads to that conclusion.
I mean, I really feel like it could happen.
It's-
It's definitely
yeah.
not outside the realm
No,
of possibility.
and here's why. It's funny you bring this up because I wanted to get to it as well. This would be a great discussion topic because we talked about it at length for hours. Wyville and I even went back and forth on it on our own after this whole conversation.
I know.
Because we started going through like different railroad maps and different eras and like, if it had, if this had happened, if this had happened, if this had happened. We
Yeah.
went into a bajillion alternate history scenarios. But here's the thing. One, Tennessee Pass is extremely difficult to operate. The gradients make it very prohibitive to run trains across Tennessee Pass, despite the fact that the rail itself is in decent condition. Two, Tennessee Pass, because of that limitation, is not something that Union Pacific would ever be interested in operating. It does not take enough time off of travel to anywhere versus the Moffat route, and is much more difficult to operate, as previously mentioned. I am just repeating myself. But the third and most important thing is, if anybody were to buy Tennessee Pass with the purpose of operating it, you only have a connection with anything that isn't the Union Pacific at one end. Otherwise, you have to deal with Union Pacific on the continuation as you get past Dotsero. So, either you are Union Pacific, or you have to negotiate trackage rights with Union Pacific, and if you're doing that, you might as well just use the Moffat Tunnel. So, there is...
wasn't-
can I provide some counters to your points really quick?
Sure.
Just really quick. So your first point was power. It's too cheap. It's too steep to operate. Correct.
Yep. It is very, very
So-
difficult to operate.
That's only from one end. I believe it's going.
No, it's
east.
from both.
No,
I mean,
it's only
there are-
1.4% coming
No,
the
it's
other
not.
one way.
It's 3.
It's
On both
3
sides.
3 and 4.
It's
On
like-
both
And
sides.
I have 2 use into that.
And even then, you have to go down.
I thought it was only 1.14% going one direction.
No, it's
It's not. It is not that steep going
It's
both
Colorado.
It is
Everything's
very
big
steep
and
in
Well-
both directions.
We'll get you the track maps. Moving
Wild
on.
has them.
Well, hold on. I actually was like to
Hold on.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
what's your
forward
second
point.
point?
the second point. The first point. I mean, and while it is steep. The Wikipedia page on it says it only has grades up to 3%.
No, there's 4s.
There's not 4s.
There are.
That 4s wouldn't even
We will
make sense
pull
for the
out
Rio Grande.
ancient text after the podcast. Speaking of the ancient text,
Okay, I guess never mind. We'll just talk about this after.
speaking of the ancients, and by ancients I mean Wybold, he got some new toys.
I wish
You-
there was
you
a, I wish
get-
there was a
sorry.
citation for this. Either way, it's a very, very long climb on the
Yeah.
the east side, and it's way out of the way.
We're now talking about the Pikes Peak cars that Wybold has at the Colorado Railroad Museum. The website has nothing. However, the Trains magazine has nothing because it's Trains magazine. The Colorado Railroad Museum recently got some old equipment from the COG, such as the stuff from the 50s and 60s. So all the cool stuff.
Motherfucker.
Hey, this is a family podcast, Jader.
Sorry, just
And,
chemistry is.
And they have them. They're cool. They're cool things. So,
Oh yeah.
yes.
You know what else is a cool name? Speaking of cool names,
What was wrong?
WP Railroad Museum, the one in Portola, got a Pacific Fruit Express reefer, and if I'm not mistaken, it's the only WP one still around. Because
Yay!
believe it or not, WP was involved in that whole deal. Yeah, I know. It was SP, UP, and WP. WP got in because they didn't want SP to have a monopoly in the California area. So this was in the person's backyard, and it's no longer in the person's backyard. It's the Railroad Museum now in San Jose until they can fix it up to the point where they can move it back to Portola,
Cool.
which they
Yeah.
hope to do eventually. Speaking of things being built, Gunderson celebrates 100 years with new exhibit at Oregon Heritage Center. Gunderson, for those uninformed, started out life as a different company, but basically what they do is they rebuild freight cars. They first started that in about the 50s when they built a new boxcar underframes for SP. And then they went on to do a number of stuff, including employ a friend of mine at the museum for quite a few years. So it's a neat new exhibit there. Good for them doing good stuff. Speaking of good stuff, a Facebook ad on the marketplace showed up a while ago, and it caught my interest because it was a San Francisco cable car. Like an actual San Francisco cable car was for sale. And it was like $6,000 from what I recall, and I was kind of interested. But anyways, it disappeared after the 50s, and people assumed that it got cut up. Well, it was in someone's backyard the whole time, except for a little bit when, okay, it went to Knoxbury Farm, and
Hey, I've been there.
and they kept it until the 70s, and then they sold 3 of them that they had. One went to Lawrence Empire, which is in Paris, and the other 2 went to Auburn, California retirement home for some reason.
Who knows?
And then it got yesterday on Craigslist, and some guy wound up purchasing it, putting in this front yard as a conversation piece. It's one hell of a conversation piece.
Yeah.
And he thought of ideas, turning into a parking lot cafe, a tiny home, or even setting it on a barge and driving it around a river. And ultimately, he decided to just not do anything with it, except for hang Christmas lights on it, take pictures with it, have people come over and take pictures on it. Well, anyways, they got posted after a while on Facebook Marketplace, and I don't think it's on there anymore, unfortunately.
No, it was bought by somebody.
But hopefully it goes to a good home. It survived this long. Why not keep it around? So, speaking of being survived for long, sorry, Chris. Payback. Long Distance Challenge Series. Fuck. Long Distance Charge Series being ordered by Amtrak. They expect to have them mid-2020 and end of 2024. They're ordering 75 of them for $744 million. So yeah, usually they have expired their long-term sustainability plan. So yeah, basically they just hope to replace. I'm assuming it's mainly to replace the P-42s because P-42s are getting up there in age.
Tell me about it.
And are encountering problems by the day.
Tell me about it.
But there's many problems with BNSF.
Actually, if you don't mind.
No, I do. It's on fire.
I would like to talk about new engines while we're on the subject.
Here we go.
And Metra. Being Metra. Why is there not a picture in this article? Never mind, continue. I need to go find a picture.
Okay. Anyways, back to my fire news story. The SPS Briggs over the Columbia caught fire, on the same day that the stranded Amtrak train actually got to Portland. So not only did they get held by a tree in Oak Ridge, they got held by a fire in Portland. This was on the SPS Briggs going between Portland and Vancouver. And Cranks Magazine apparently doesn't have much on it, other than no one was hurt, which is good. I would expect no one to be hurt in the Briggs fire, but...
Well, I would hope so.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the Amtracker, it didn't seem to have much of an impact after they put the fire out, so... They seem to have got it back into working order, I would suppose.
Yeah, it's just everything that happened.
I got a picture, by the way.
Okay, good.
So...
Of the Metra cursed image?
Metra.
Oh,
Metra.
Yep.
Metra
Still
keeps
Metra.
doing cool things with locomotives.
This is not one of them.
Well, hold on. I think it is. But the thing they keep doing, on top of all their cool things, is taking those locomotives, those great ideas for using different locomotives for this, that, and the other, and painting them in these horribly ugly schemes that don't know what the hell they're doing. I like Metra's MO. I don't like their paint. Whoever comes up with this stuff, I don't think they're doing a great job. But Metra is going to purchase 15 locomotives, 15 SD70 Mach, M-A-C-H locomotives, which are...
It's the Swiss version with the H.
Yeah.
Mach.
About 70% of their current fleet are rated in marginal or poor condition.
Wow. That's
the introduction this year of 24 used but new to Metra locomotives that were purchased from Amtrak will reduce that percentage by about 45%. Or to about 45%, sorry. and the addition of the remastered freight locomotives will reduce that percentage to 14% by 2023. Oh my god. But the fact that they decided to go with SD70s is about as bewildering to me as Herzog purchasing used coal hoppers that have been languishing on Tennessee Pass.
Yeah.
They're trying to make progress.
I mean, I
for
guess
old
it's
stuff.
better than engines that don't work, but like, I mean, you can read all about them. I'm not a diesel guy really, but like, again, wow, just
Yeah.
not the thing I expected to hear from Metra, and furthermore, really not what I wanted to see, just in terms of paint scheme. There are a couple articles on this if you guys want to
Okay.
read them.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Progress. Step in the right
I
direction.
suppose, yeah.
Speaking of progress, BART and the Capital Corridor, which is Amtrak California, are assessing building a new Transbay crossing in San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
Pressing X to Dallas.
Much needed. Because BART's Transbay capacity, it may need to increase BART in their Transbay capacity. Because right now they're limited to one bridge. They used to have two, but then one got knocked down. The one that got knocked down, I don't know. I thought it was better than what they may have now. But
So they have a tunnel, don't they?
I believe they
BART has a
do.
tunnel. I'm pretty sure I rode in it, so I should know, but I don't really remember.
I believe it's a tunnel, but they used to have a bridge.
Mm-hmm. You can see it
that's
on the open railway
yeah.
map.
Yeah, but just assessing the feasibility a bit, and hopefully it goes through. More options is a good thing. And they're just considering another option.
Yeah.
And they've also sent out a bid to take a serious, it's a 10-year contract, basically, to take a serious look at it. They
It's
do
a
back.
$50 million bid, for the record.
Yeah. So they're taking it seriously, to say the very least.
The important thing
Unlike,
about the important thing about this is, Chris said press X to doubt. Not only are they putting money on the table for somebody to do a study about its feasibility, California passed a $3.5 billion bond measure in 2016 for money for BART.
My thing is building a causeway.
I mean, they had a causeway. Still sort of there.
I don't think all of the hippie type in San Francisco are going to like a giant causeway going across the bay.
You could get away
I don't-
with it
I don't-
if people
A,
enough
I don't
buy
think they're
it.
really going to care, and B, I think they're going to like it if it's getting them better public transit, because
Yeah,
that's what
I
people
don't
tend
know.
to like.
Hippies for
and-
the
And
transit.
C, there are already bridges across
Yeah.
the bay.
Yeah,
And
There's
D,
like 10 of them.
D, if you're building a causeway, it's still going to be high enough or out of the way enough or whatever enough because you've got a lot of shipping down there. The previous bridges that are and have previously been built across the bay, they had to be built in a certain way. And again, there is a former connection, it's not used anymore, between the two sides. It's a little bit farther south.
Yeah, and that's one of the alternatives that they threw up in the.
Yeah,
Right.
which is a thought. But the other thing is, well, you've got plenty of opportunities to cross the bay. You've got plenty of bridges that already cross the bay, but the issue is if you're using a locomotive, you need to get up high, and that's difficult. So I would expect that I would be surprised if they were going to build a causeway in general, because that means you're going to have a pretty significant draw span. And moreover, the U.S. Navy, because they have a pretty heavy presence in that area, they don't like causeways. They don't like big bridges that might be able to be knocked down and block a passage. Which is why the Chesapeake Bay Bridge Tunnel is a bridge and tunnel. So, whatever is going to get built here, not only is it going to have to pass muster with the public, because that's just how it goes.
Yep.
I'm certain that the hippie types in San Francisco, as well as the other Californians that will be working on this project, will put it together in a way that is pleasing to the people there. Because
at this point, I have to get to bed because it's pretty early, so I'd like to do a quick lightning round after you finish your thought.
Okay, well, the other thing related to this that I'd like to bring up is that California, speaking of California's troubles, California might be in trouble because the federal government gave California a lot of money for California high-speed rail. And now the new governor of California is saying it's costing too much, we're going to scale the project way back, just build the bit in the valley that's already under construction, and that's going to be that. And so now...
Yeah, that's...
So now they're not going to be using those funds for the thing that they agreed on using them for.
I wonder... This sounds familiar.
And they might be in a little bit of financial... Hey, we have to pay those back.
Yeah.
So we'll see where this goes. Also, the fact that it was canceled is another matter entirely.
Yep.
But the costs were certainly ballooning, and that's what happens when you have a project that goes on and off hold every couple of years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
going.
I hate chemistry.
All right. Put that back. And we're gonna do a real quick lightning round with me.
Okay.
Speaking of California, in a way, we're going to start off with the U.S. Postal Service offering 150th Transcontinental Anniversary stamps for 119 and Jupiter, of which I will be probably buying about 17 packs. I'm not going to cover that. In the trains world, Steve Laro has released the fake Allentown Auburn, Arcade and Attica 18.
The orange thing.
World. With the very orange, very, very, very orange postage.
Postage?
Yes.
Postage?
Post.
Hey, speaking of postage... just go, it's lightning round.
Don't even soup.
Fuck.
The FRA has announced that UP does not need...
Come on! You had an excellent segue to the postage stamps.
I already did the postage stamp.
Oh.
Oh, no,
Your chum.
Before that.
Yeah.
Fine. I just tuned into the
Speaking of
postage.
things that don't even postage. UP does not need a waiver for PTC to run Steam roughly 11,000 miles in 2019, which apparently is pretty much our first indication of the schedule. Another thing that I should mention that is not on this list, the schedule for 4014 and 844 this year has been delayed until sometime this month. Sometime here in March. Actually, we're recording this on March 1st.
No, we're not.
Obviously,
we're recording it on February 12th.
No, we're recording on March 2nd. It's March 2nd.
March
We always
1st.
record on Saturdays.
Yeah,
it's March
sure.
2nd.
No,
But
it's March 1st.
either way, it is. They have pushed that back. They do not quite know yet. I assume they're waiting for something from the FRA, which just may have been the exact thing they were waiting for. Speaking of things that we were waiting for,
Don't even soup. Sorry.
yes, Nashville 576 has a date to move. It is moving March 9th from the current underpass underneath the road to Nashville Union Station by the courtesy of CSX. They're going to have a large event there, which is a really cool thing. CXS is being a real team player in this, getting a lot of publicity for themselves out of it, as well as 576 is milking every single dollar they can from the general public, which is the way you're supposed to. Because once that thing gets into the restoration shop, we probably won't hear much about it because they'll be keeping it under wraps. So while it's out and about, they gotta get every single dollar they possibly can.
Parade it around, make it important, show up.
Exactly. Speaking of
fund us.
Yes. Speaking of things that need to get every dollar they can, Age of Steam, which is actually recurring news from January. Age of Steam will be is cosmetically restoring U.S. Army S-160. I forget the number. They're about most of the way
612.
done already. This is for their event in May, or is it June? I think it's June.
It's July, or I forget.
The future for the.
I don't. It's weird. It's a D-Day event, which was in June, but
Yeah.
the
They're
event they
basically-
have is in July.
Their troops and trains thing, which will be going on, pretty soon. Which I am looking forward to. I wish I could go, but the tickets are already sold out.
They're already sold out.
As far as I understand, they are almost all.
I was going to take my stepdad.
Oh, I'm sure you could find tickets somewhere. Talk to your people at Hawking. Speaking of things in Ohio, 2100 isn't done.
Isn't done.
It's done.
That's really about it. According to Steve Harvey, it's Steve Harvey.
Different. I'm thinking of
Not
a different
that
Steve
one.
No,
Harvey.
you're thinking of exactly the same Steve Harvey.
No.
What?
No, I don't
Oh,
think he
Ken
is.
Lafute, Steve Harvey is a railroader.
Yeah.
Yes, Steve Harvey. There is only one Steve Harvey.
He is.
Yeah. Yes,
Excuse me. What?
You're thinking of Hove.
No.
No, you said Harvey.
Yes.
Like Steve Harvey, Family Feud.
No, the railroad is Steve.
Exactly. There's not just one Steve Harvey.
Either way, he has said if fundraising continues at the present rate, we'll be looking at a 2020 fire up. This is completely off the wall from what he said to me at Christmas time, personally, which was supposed to be fired up now,
Oh
as
well.
in March.
Oh well.
Well, here we are. Basically, they're doing some firebox work, and that's about it. It's really not much.
I'm in the 5th year, but 2-year restoration.
Speaking of andesite things, the
What?
Wanami number 9 loco, technically Delaware Lackawanna and Western Coal Company number 28. Yeah. There is a fundraising group with the Huber Breaker Preservation Society to try and bring it home. It's not a very good group. They're really kind of discombobulated. I think it needs to come home to the coal region. But to give you an idea of how good the Huber Breaker Preservation Society is, in 2013, the Huber Breaker was torn down. I think that really sets a very good record for them there. That their name.
Listen, they've got nowhere to go but up.
Yes. Things that need to go up. Also, recurring news from last week. Keystone Cement, which is a place that gets rail cars, had a crash. They screwed them over themselves. This is quite hilarious. They were using a car mover, and all the cars went. There was somebody trapped. He got out fine.
Hilarious.
Yeah, it's just like it went. I don't know how, but Jesus, they screwed up. Speaking of not screwing up, the Delaware and Susquehanna.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
The Durango and Silverton narrow gauge has begun the era of oil-burning locomotives, according
Woo!
to Herald. They did a nice article on 18 and its use on the photo trains, and how it's good and how everything is good and good.
Now,
and
they
good,
haven't set
and
anything
that's
on
about it.
fire lately. Good job, guys.
Yes,
Yeah.
they basically didn't set anything on fire because they are under about 17 feet of snow.
Yeah, well, you know.
Technicality.
Of Colorado, the RTV driver, the R-line train that has derailed last month. That
The one that sent
flung
somebody
someone
flying?
out the window.
Yeah.
The driver's now being charged.
Wow, I'm so surprised. I never would
Yes.
have expected that to happen.
And then, so completely unrelated to Norfolk Southern, Norfolk Southern details plan to cut 3,000 employees and 500 locomotives by 2021. So if you're looking for a job on NS, bye-bye.
Sucks.
Don't go apply to NS. They're not looking to hire right now. That's it. I'm not going to cover this.
And neither is UP, right, Achilles?
What? Oh, yeah, that is correct.
There's also an article
Okay,
here about
great
the
article.
Slider Railroader, which is just a family thing. Yeah. All right. Good night, everybody. My termination is, speaking of things that don't postage.
Okay.
So, speaking of Union Pacific, Union Pacific actually is looking like it's pretty good for in the PSR era, according
Except for all
to
those cuts.
Seeking Alpha
okay.
Theta, Seeking Alpha to the Alpha. Union Pacific displays a formidable business set to stand the test of times, and the stock of Union Pacific offers strong financial incentives, presumably to invest.
They're doing very well, despite the fact that they're cutting hundreds of employees all over the place.
Yeah.
But you know who probably isn't cutting employees? Wabtec and GE.
I mean, they probably are, though.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, okay.
These things
But
happen
why is
for-
that? Achilles.
Well, you see, it's because Wabtec just completed its successful merger with GE Transportation, and Thomas Edison
Ironic.
and
Oh.
Westinghouse are rolling in their graves about it.
Yeah. Baldwin and Westinghouse.
I don't know who this
This merger-
Westinghouse guy is, but...
This
Yeah.
merger would establish Wabtec
That's like
as a
Bear.
Fortune 500 company and become one of the leaders in global transportation and logistics with their their new broad range of freight, transit, and electronics products, as well as Wabtec's original PTC, IETMS, ETC services. You guys probably don't know what any of that means.
Yep.
I mean, I
But
know
I
that I
do.
knew some of those letters.
The combined company is supposed to have revenues of $8 billion in 2019. And the CEO of GE Transportation is now president of Wabtec's freight segment, Rafael Santana,
Sonata? Damn.
said, quote, "Our shared focus on innovation, collaboration, and continuous improvement will enable us to unlock new value for our shareholders, customers, employees, and the industry." So it's going to be weird for me to say that GVOs are now MKs, but that's
Wabvos.
all right. And that
I'm calling them
that-
Wabvos.
and that technically means, Ellis, that those F40s on MBTA are now GE products.
Disappointed.
Oh well.
Can we
I mean, I
call
don't really
them
care either way.
Wombos?
But
Let's call them Wombos.
Wombos. So
Yeah.
we were talking about UP standing in the face of PSR, Precision Scheduled Railroading, by standing in the face of meaning they're doing pretty well under it seems. And now the last holdout, the last Class 1, is now shifting to Precision Scheduled Railroading.
The NSF or
KCS.
BNSF
everyone forgets
hasn't done anything.
I'm pretty sure they
Okay.
did. I think we reported on it last time.
No, they were thinking about it, but they want to hold back and kind of see what happens. That's
I
why
hate living in a bunch of hall with a bunch of fucking.
I recall with some, with some gusto. I don't know. I recall seeing that flip,
Okay.
What's called that?
but maybe I'm mistaken. In
Maybe
which
I
case, BNSF is the only one left.
Last one in the Hunger Games. This better be fucking right. I'm gonna
Damn
hit
it.
the table.
Good.
BNSF
Now
one.
still,
Better be right.
But it may be a certain amount of time. It's only a matter of time with BNSF.
What the shit?
yeah, I know.
I-
That's what I'm saying.
Dun dun dun. Anyway, we also have as a bit of side news.
Yeah.
You know
we
why
do.
people are scared to ride trains?
Why? Hell?
Terrorists. Obviously.
Oh, I thought. Yeah.
There were 2 men found guilty of terrorism charges after being accused of plotting to derail a passenger train. What passenger train? Via Rail. Because they
Oh,
want to make the
great.
latest train known to man even later.
Yep.
Also, they had a mistrial, so they're going to have to get trialed again. I didn't really
Suckers
read the whole
ants.
thing, but I find it kind of comical that there was a terror plot against Via Rail. Literally the last railroad company I would expect a terror plot against.
Yep.
Well,
I'm
yeah,
amazed
because
nobody's
everybody's so
tried
nice
to
in
bomb
Canada.
Bright Line yet. Also, yeah, it's Canada. What do they care? Did Via Rail screw with their maple syrup or something? Anyway. There's one more disaster from this week that I'd like to talk about. Actually, no, two more. One is very small, but it happens to do with my favorite little railroad. The Mount Washington Cog, during a winter storm, had the roof of the display coach out front ripped off and thrown down the road.
Oh,
So, yeah, there's that. That happened. But also, the new Silver Line in Washington, D.C. had a test train the other day. It made it 1,000 feet and broke down.
oof.
Oh my god.
So, wasn't ideal. But, you know,
Yeah.
maybe these alleged terrorists will truly be brought to justice.
Yep.
The roof will be put back on the coach where it belongs. What was the other thing I was just talking about? The Silver Line will run someday, and also the train will terminate at this station. So, we have
Sorry.
one more thing before we round up. Also,
Okay.
I keep saying one more thing and then coming up with another thing.
Yeah.
Because of the discussion that we didn't get to, I propose that next week we sit down and do a Sunday driving where we talk about Tennessee Pass.
Okay.
So,
All right.
you know, we'll get Achilles, you can be there, we'll get Weibold in there, we'll get Chris in there, we'll get myself in there. We'll all sit down and talk about what we think about the future and past, alternate possibilities, you know, what could happen, what could have happened, had yada yada yada.
Yep.
Because it is, as proven, certainly an engaging subject. And with Weibold having the actual track maps, the actual gradient maps on CD,
Yep. That
we
would
won't
help.
have to go back and forth about, but this source says this and this source says this. Which I think will be better. Also, the more people, the more maps we can have, and I like maps.
I'd still like to do a little discussion after this, but maybe just between us,
Okay.
perhaps. But anyway,
Okay.
Well, speaking
Well.
of things that shouldn't be on the train, TriMet had a little incident regarding, and
2
this
seconds.
is in the vein of Keep Portland Weird.
Oh no.
A llama was on the map,
What?
A llama!
but TriMet confirms it
How the
shouldn't
fuck?
have been on there.
It shouldn't. Why? Because it didn't pay for a ticket.
Yeah, exactly. You gotta watch out for those TriMet fare counters.
They'll get you.
But no, apparently the llama that rode the light rail train was Caesar the No Drama Llama, who has a
Caesar the
website,
No Drama Llama.
who has a website, a social media director, and multiple personas.
It is not clear
so-
whether Caesar had valid fare.
Yeah, that's probably why TriMet wants to get after him.
Oh my god. Well, also,
Oh,
it's,
boy.
you know, TriMet policy allows only service animals on TriMet vehicles. Service animal is a guide dog, signal dog, or other animal individually trained to perform tasks for an individual with a disability. So, Caesar, the llama, does not appear to be a guide animal or a service animal.
On the surface, no, but he's there to stop being normal
To
in
stop-
Portland.
I thought he was there to stop drama.
Being normal in Portland is a disease. It's gotta be
Oh,
weird.
that's right. Sorry. I forgot. Alright, well, I think we've got everything out of the way. That's really
Yeah.
important. We can come around to the rest of it next time, perhaps, when we have a little bit more time,
Yeah.
a little bit less news, maybe.
Last thing I want to hit. Hocking Valley. We're doing cabin fever steam specials March 23rd and 24th. Trains are departing at 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. on both days. These will Seating is very limited. I don't know the status of the tickets because the website's a chaos.
No.
I-
Everything Hawking does is great. You're with them. You need to say their website.
Anyway, I'm fucking tired and pissed at Canister right now. Anyway,
You don't have to sound so excited about it anyway.
whatever. Anyway, we're running Steam specials then. Come check us out. Something that we didn't do for the November Steam specials is that we're including a photo run by on at least one photo run by in each of the trips. So that'll be fun. I plan to work at least one of the 3 p.m. at least the 3 p.m. train on Saturday. Hopefully the 11 a.m. if I can get my schedule moved around. That's it. How did I get a point?
I forget.
Probably something stupid.
If it was for me, like,
No, it wasn't for. Didn't have anything to do with chemistry. Oh no, I know
Right.
why. I know why. Because you had an opportunity. You were the first person to speak in Trackside Tales, and then we get to the end of Trackside Tales, and you're like, "But I didn't get to do my stuff." The first thing you said was, "I am so busy," and then we get to the end, and you're like, "But wait, I want to
Well,
talk though."
Yeah.
whatever. Just. But.
What about maintenance of way? What
What about Maintenance of Way?
did we
Maintenance-
do that?
No. Do you
Oh.
remember us doing that? Have you been looking at the map?
No.
All right. Well, what do you guys think?
I literally was just
asked.
asking.
Uh huh.
I literally was just asking.
What is the latest
Okay.
train on Amtrak, guys?
Westbound Sunset Limited. No, eastbound.
Eastbound Sunset Limited. Okay, Achilles.
I do recall the other day,
Oh.
or yesterday, so it's still on the system,
Yesterday.
that train 6 was like 9 hours late in Utah.
Okay.
Okay.
So I am going to guess that.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with my gut here. Wait. Does the CoStar have a service disruption still?
It does.
Damn it. Then I'll go with the eastbound Crescent.
Okay. You should know that the Coast Starlight, despite having a service disruption, is on time.
Damn it.
So you
Wait,
would
how
have
the
lost
hell
anyway.
does that work?
It just hasn't gotten to the point where the service disruption is yet. All right. So you said the eastbound Southwest Chief.
Sunset.
Oh, the eastbound Sunset. Sorry. Eastbound Sunset. Sunset Limited to New Orleans is 2 hours and 16 minutes late. It's
Well, damn
almost
it.
at New Orleans. Well, Julie's remembered correctly. Except now, the California Zephyr to Chicago number 6 is 13 hours and 37 minutes behind schedule. And the other California Zephyr is 6 hours and 44 minutes behind schedule. Furthermore, there's an Empire Builder 4 hours and 42 minutes behind schedule. Another one 3 hours and 13 minutes behind schedule.
Okay.
Another one 3 hours and 28 minutes behind schedule.
16 plus 10.
The Crescent, which Milky, that was yours, right?
26.
Yeah, you.
The eastbound Crescent is 2 hours late, so not so
Ah.
bad. The westbound Crescent is 3 hours and 16 minutes late. The Texas Eagle is 3.5 hours late. The Lakeshore Limited somehow is 6 hours late. There's a regional that's an
wonder
hour
why.
behind. The other Texas Eagle is 4.5 hours late. Things are bad all over.
Yeah.
But Agili's got it right. Congrats.
That was a total guess. That was a
Yeah.
total guess.
Well, you pulled from something that you knew before. I did actually notice that train on the system yesterday and went, "Oh, that's bad." It actually left.
Well,
it
the only
left-
reason
Sorry.
Sorry, go ahead. Go
It
ahead. That's my
left
fault.
Reno 8 hours late, basically. It
The
left
only reason I
Yeah.
remember it is because it has 130 on the point.
Foamer.
Foamer.
And I have friends who went out and saw it.
Foamers.
However. Oh, never mind. No, it's worse than Via Rail. Never mind.
Yeah.
Ooh.
There's a Canadian that's 13.5 hours late, but number 6 is
Oof.
just a little bit later than that. In fact, it's almost 14 hours late.
Okay.
Well, All right then.
Are we going to CO2?
All right then.
Shut up.
You know
computer.
nothing of pain. Alright, so let's round this podcast out here. First up, Jader, I know, we all know. We know.
Yeah. See, I'm gonna vent for a little bit. I don't care if this goes on here. See, here's what's worse about it. Have any of you used Alex for a chemistry class or whatever?
No, I used my chemistry lab or whatever. Or my
Okay.
Same principle. Online thing where you put in an answer and it's like, no, that's wrong.
Yeah. Well, it does that. And here's the worst part. If it gets you, if you get it wrong, it knocks you back. And even if you just miss one fucking significant figure or something, or you put in a wrong solid state or whatever, you do that, it knocks you back. You barely make any progress. It takes you 2 hours to do one thing. I've been doing this since 6, practically since before we started.
Yeah.
And we're 4 hours in.
Well, since we started the call, I'm not sure. I don't have the timer.
We're about 3.5 hours in.
Yeah.
And I've been doing this for 4 hours. And it's due in about 45 minutes.
Oh God.
And my hall's a fucking zoo.
Yeah, I can hear it.
Yeah, I hate it. It's like this every weekend.
Jeez. I was
Like,
playing
I
Rocket
have-
League once. A lot of people came to tell me to shut up.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
my
this
goal
all-
to not be like in high school.
High school.
College.
I was going to
Anyway,
say,
Chris-
please, Jillies, please do the world a favor and don't be an obnoxious, drunken, dumbass college student who thinks he's hot shit just because he's in college. And he thinks he's the king of the world and can do whatever. Please
But here's the
don't be like
checkmate. He's $40,000 in debt. That's a different topic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that.
You must
Okay,
have enough fuel
but-
units.
Yeah.
End of my rant.
Yeah. Also, Chris, for record, said, speaking of things I don't, postage. Milky, what's your termination?
I posted a picture of the 1933 Bay Bridge, which is still around apparently. They just don't use it for whale anymore, which I don't get why, but okay.
There was rail on the Bay Bridge.
Yeah. Key System, Sacramento Northern, then Interurban Electric, which was SP's attempt on Interurban.
Oh,
They
okay.
couldn't come up with any. But anyways, the three of them tried to do that, and they did it for a while, and it was very successful, very great. I think it had an automatic signaling on it too. It was good. But no, there's a drawing of it.
Yeah. The Bay Bridge, the old Bay Bridge, was actually really cool looking. They've replaced it in recent years. At
yeah.
least certain spans of it. The oldest and the most worrisome spans of it have been replaced by new and very cool looking cable stay spans. Anyway, I would like to say that, Jader, you have my condolences. I hate chemistry too. I would not have made it through chemistry without a really great lab partner, or partners, because, goddamn, I just can't wrap my head around that stuff. I
mean,
can't. Like, I know in my head.
Do you use chemistry in your job?
No. I
Then
know
why,
in my head.
Why the fuck can't I just specialize and be done with it?
Because you have to get through all the stuff for if you change your mind.
Yeah, you gotta get
If
to the.
you change your mind and you want to switch, if you decide that transpo is not your thing anymore, you don't want to have to go back and redo stuff that you should have already done. And
That makes sense.
It's part of why. They assume that going into college you might have an idea of what you want to do, but not everyone gets it right the first time. There are plenty of people that switch majors drastically in the middle of their college career.
Yeah, I mean, one of my good friends has changed her major twice.
And also, engineer, I know in my head, and I try not to let it stay there, but I know that to take an engineer, it takes some brains. You got to be kind of smart to know your way around all that stuff. But when I see somebody that's doing, a biomed program, or that sort of thing, I'm like, nah, you're the smart one, not me. I can't do that. I'm stupid,
Yeah, one of my friends is, are we still on air?
Yes.
I don't care. One of my friends is like a bio nursing. I forget some sort of like body study major doctor thing. And I'm like, how do you do this?
Very
I
careful.
don't understand any of this. Like, I get the basics, like that leg bone's connected to the femur or whatever,
And the
But
mitochondria
that's
is the
it.
powerhouse of the cell.
but that's it.
Yeah, no, that's where my knowledge ends too. I still have a drawing somewhere of how cells work, or mitochondria work, or whatever. Like from a chemistry basis. I don't know why I still have it, but I have it just in case I ever need to dredge up that information. Anyway, let's sorry about that. Sorry about the continuation. Achilles, you can put out your grouses about your schooling as well now.
I have a long termination. So first thing I want to say, I hate AP Physics too.
Mhm.
It's a hard class. Optics is terrible. It's so stupid. I'm gonna die. And yet I get modern physics. And I also want to say that this is the first podcast ever where I haven't gotten a strike, and I was the first guest on the podcast ever.
Congrats. Congrats. You did.
Bragging rights, I guess.
No.
That's what you're doing.
I gave him a strike.
Ooh.
Okay, no, I'll say that's not a deserved strike, and you won thingy anyway. Not that I actually remove strikes for anything anymore, but hypothetically I should. Anyway, I'd like to
Hey,
thank
get
you guys for tuning into this disjointed episode of the Terminus Podcast, and this is what happens after 3 weeks. We get too rusty. We're supposed to do it every 2.
We get rusty.
Ideally,
and
maybe we would do it
pissed.
every 1, because
Oh.
we used to do it every 2, because train news is slow. But
We used to do it every one.
no, we didn't.
I think. Yeah.
When I started it was a once every other week show.
8
Okay.
plus 10.
It's not a thing that maybe I'm wrong, but I don't remember
No,
ever making it once.
I think we did it for like 5 episodes. And then
I don't remember, but either way. Thank you for watching the
give
Terminus Podcast. We'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.